Welcome back to another episode of Collector's Quest. I'm Tyler here with Johnny, and actually what this is a video game collecting podcast we used to do back in the day, and we're getting the band back together and we're recording another episode of it.
You are doing a thing I absolutely hate what that people do.
Okay, I'll just cut this.
You know I hate like to come in with the apology tour.
It wasn't an apology, it was a gentle ribbing. Oh, I hate people who apologize. Like, oh, hey guys, welcome to my 3,000 YouTube subscriber channel. Sorry I haven't posted a video lately. Like, dude, I'm here because the algorithm just told me to came here. Believe me, no one is like sequentially waiting for the next video that you've put out.
I mean, we had extenuating circumstances. You got sick, I got evacuated, there was fires. We're all okay. We're all okay. That's the important thing, and we're back to it.
We are, Johnny. You know who's not okay? Digipress. Digipress is gone.
Dead. Well, the forums are dead.
Okay, that's weird. So this is up-to-date news. Yes, so the forum is gone. Now if you go to the forum, there's a huge notice about goodbye, but the actual website is back, which is good, because I think Digipress is an important part of the video game collecting hobby of the 2000s, even the 90s.
The question is, how long will it remain?
So the story I heard is that it was costing around $45 a month to run Digipress, which there's two ways to look at it. If I have to pay for a website that like nobody uses anymore, $45 a month, no, I don't want to pay $45 a month. On the other hand, there's almost certainly someone willing to pay $45 a month, especially if you shut down the forum and just host the classic Digipress website. And it was apparently just like deleted very quickly. No real attempt to hand it off to anybody.
Hey guys, this is what I talk about when I say that, you know, when you give your information to other people and it's not protected and there's no guarantees, and especially if it's a big corporation, like these were people doing it out of love, clearly. No one at Digipress was getting rich. So these are people who love the hobby. So imagine if you turned it over to a large corporation who actually just looks at just dollars and cents. They would never get anything back.
Yeah, so Digipress is run by Joe Santulli, who's the same guy who runs the, I don't remember the name of it, but it's a video game museum in Texas, one of the only real video game museums out there. So yeah, it was surprising to see it gone. I'm really happy it's back. And the Rarity Guide works, which is all I really care about. And I realize the Rarity Guide is 20 years out of date, but it's just such a time capsule of the hobby when all we cared about was like rarity numbers, even if they weren't from Digipress, even if you just cared about like the Nintendo age rarity number, because Nintendo age rated everything on a 1 to 10 scale. Atari age rated everything on a 1 to 10 scale. This is when I started collecting video games. This is what I really remember about video games, is carrying that quad run as an R9 on Atari.
Yeah, we did a whole episode dedicated to the idea of the Rarity Guide. It's very important and it's very nostalgic.
Yeah, and then it immediately went away right after we posted.
Yeah, killed it. Just killed it. I hate the idea that it would be gone. I am also glad it's back.
Yeah, and so the forum's gone, but I don't really care. I'm sorry. There's like some like, you know, fake, you like go to the Internet Archive and stuff, but like there's this thing called archive.nes.science, and it's the Nintendo age archive, but because you can't search it, it's basically useless unless you're going to literally go through like thousands of forum pages and manually search for interesting information.
Just stop, man. Shit like that boils me inside. I hate it. There was no need for this to happen. Yeah. Hate it a lot. Hate it.
You know, whatever happened, the good thing happened. So Digipress is back without the forum, but I think that's fine. That's a good compromise. I'm sure it's way cheaper to run without the forum. I mean, it must cost nothing to run Digipress. The website is like from the 90s. It's just like a static website.
But also, like, couldn't we have just done the thing where, I don't know, we have both, and like you just say, guys, if you don't pay for it, I'm just going to delete it. Somebody's going to pay for it. Like, what do you want? $3 a month for me or something? Okay. Like, what? Just sure. Sign me up.
If I had like fallen out of love with video games as a hobby, which I don't think that the owners of Digipress did, because they run a video game museum, but and video game store, but I could see like not bother with it. Like, I got to set up like a payment process, and like there's only 10 people who really actively use this website anymore, and I got to get all of them to pay me $4 a month so I can keep this running.
Patreon. Get a Patreon, send the payout directly to the thing, have it automatically sent to your account, and then have it automatically deduct. How do you think we pay for our stuff? You think I want to sit here and manage micropayments?
I mean, you still got to manage the Patreon.
Yeah, only a little. Like,
I mean,
yeah,
Johnny,
I'm
most
not
people would
job.
not consider, like, most people would look at our Patreon and be like, it's just not worth doing this podcast. What are you talking about? And if we're talking about like a $50 a month website, I think most people would look at that and be like, yeah, it's just not worth my time to even set this up and deal with this.
But that's why, I mean, for us, we're not doing it to pay ourselves. We're just doing it to pay the basic upkeep and, maybe help offset our plane tickets and stuff. That when we go to Midwest
the people
or
who
wherever
listen to
we
this
go.
podcast don't owe us plane tickets, Johnny.
We're
allowed
say
to
they
be
do.
paid for the hard hours of work we do yapping about video games.
Sure, that's the first time you've ever said that. One, two.
I hate it. I still hate it. I mean, that would be what people commonly say.
Yeah, but I don't go too deep on this. We're not like, again, we don't get rich. They don't need to get rich to set up a thing so people can have it if they want it. If no one pays for it, then no one wants it, and then shut it down. That's easy.
All right, that is a good point. If no one pays for it, no one wants it, then shut it down, and no one can complain.
Yeah. So
Johnny,
it's like I'm not going to do this. It's not going to be hard. I've set it up. If you don't want it, then it's going away. The end.
My first job, an internship I had in college, I was developing an internal search engine at like a consulting company. It was the most soulless thing ever, and I based the color scheme of that search engine on the black and red DigitPress website. And they were very immediately like, you cannot have a black and red search engine at this company. Why does this look so evil?
You're like, are we the Nazi party? What are you trying to do?
Little nostalgic. Nazi party was just, I'm just a kid who was listening to Slayer, all right? Like, what do you want?
Yeah. Black and red, typically aggressive colors. But also Nintendo.
Johnny, 236 copies of Poop Slinger got sent to a bunch of random game stores.
236 copies.
Maybe 234 copies. I'm sorry, I got the math wrong. I think 39 game stores each got a case of 6 copies. Just out of the blue, basically. And then this is common news. I think everybody listening to this podcast has already heard this.
Yeah, but that means there's more than 88 or whatever they said.
There were never 84 copies of Poop Slinger.
I know.
If you thought that, you have no brain activity. Oh, they must have just shut off the printing presses after 84 copies rolled up.
That's the number. We got it. No. My point is, that means there's probably more than that, right? So my question is, tell me, what is it selling at right now? Well, like, because we were in early and there was like some $300 and $400 copies as people started really panic selling, and now it's leveled off to what?
There's no $300 and $400 copies.
No, there was. There was like in the very beginning, there was like a $300 copy that sold.
There
and
was
like a
not.
$400 copy.
Go bring up the sale. Yes. You're wrong. There was a $500, $510, I think, complete in box. That was the lowest it went.
Because I offered, well, maybe that one, maybe you wound up getting more, but I offered on that one, the $500 one with the best offer at $300 and he countered at $400.
Okay, well, he got more than.
And then there was one that closed at like $313.
So Poop Slinger, before this, it had already been coming down. I think in like 2022, this game was in the $3,000 range, which is bananas. Like, if you're paying $3,000 for this, you actually literally believe there's only 84 copies, which is concerning. But it's come down in recent times to about $1,400. And then, of course, once all these new copies are sent out, these stores are like, well, we're stores, so we're going to sell them. And I'm sure everyone has like their own strategy of like, oh, when should I put this on eBay? Obviously, maybe putting them up right away might not be the best strategy. But there's a lot of copies that have sold between $600 and $800 recently. A couple buy it nows for $1,000 from people clearly doing the wrong thing. But even just today, another copy sold for $660. It seems like we're going to level out around $600, $700. Unless way more of them come to market, because I'm sure that like all these stores are probably still holding on to them. Like, we can't flood the market. So when's the time to buy a Poop Slinger, Johnny?
Well, here's the interesting thing. So around April, like let's talk about this thing that happened in April. Because clearly some had gone out or something had happened. Maybe someone found the warehouse of them. Because
Found the
in April,
warehouse.
you start to, or found the box because it's using like the same photo over and over again. They're selling 1,300, 1,300, 1,400, 1,400. There's like 10 sales, 11 sales at that going all the way. Well, actually starting in March. So starting in March, going all the way up April, start to May. And then that's after that, that's when these all got sent out using this same image of all around between 1,200 and 1,400. So I don't know if someone found that like a case and then they were flooding the market and this was a response, them sending out like these copies of six to a game store or what. I'm just speculating now because way more than six. So someone who had more than six was averaging around $1,300 a copy. Then when after as this is going on, then these six start to get sent out. So what's the real story? Is this like, hey, I'm not going to let you flood the market and take people for $1,400. I'll kill the value of this game before that. So I'm just going to send six copies to all these stores.
I don't think so. I don't think there was some big financial incentive behind sending a bunch of free copies of this out. I think it's just part of the story of this game is that it had a silly way of getting distributed, and now there's a bunch of silly more copies hitting the market.
No, something happened here. There's too many games that sold, and the way these were sent out feels like a response.
Okay.
Something happened here. Something happened.
I think this game, obviously, if only 84 copies, quote unquote, sold, which is not even a number that we know is correct. That's just a number that the joke account on Twitter said. But let's assume only 84 copies sold. That means there's probably another 916 copies somewhere. And if you're sitting on those 916 copies, the thing you're going to do with it, or one of the things that you could plan to do with it, if you've already gone through this much trouble, is send them out for the memes. And I think that we are sending them out for the memes right now, Johnny. And I think it's not unlikely that another airdrop might happen 5 years from now.
No, but look at the consistency of these sales. Are you on the solds? Like that your story is a fine narrative, but it doesn't make sense to what the data is showing.
What are you talking about? Who cares if multiple copies have sold?
Because it is the same. It's not a bunch of different sellers. It is the same seller selling these over the course of time, making $1,400 a pop. Why does that seller then suddenly change their mind and do something different?
Who's
Why
the
does
seller?
He go,
I can't figure out how to get to the eBay's old auctions. It's not showing me the full listing because I hate eBay, and eBay's the worst website that exists.
Curated collectibles.
Maybe he's the guy who sold Poop Slinger. Maybe he's limited rare games, and then he sold a bunch, and now he's giving away a bunch.
Curated collectibles. I'm trying to make this make sense. Is this a different seller using the same? So interesting. It's Well, now I have some pause because it's like using the same image, but now we have different sellers using the same image.
That's because eBay. Do you not sell things on eBay? When you try to list something, they're like, "Here, use this exact title, and here's an image of your thing." And people are lazy as shit.
So it was curated collectibles. Looks like selling most of them. Yeah, I don't know. I've sold on eBay. It doesn't force me to use the same picture. Not like when I'm trying to sell an individual.
It doesn't
game.
force you to, but if you suck at selling stuff, people will be like, "Well, it's just a new copy of the game, so this is what I got."
Let's see. Let's see how many copies curated collectible has sold. Let's see. Let's check his feedback, shall we? Past 6 months. No feedback for Poop Slinger. Weird.
They're all fake sales. He's trying to keep the market alive.
Maybe, but that's what I'm telling you. So starting in March, he's getting 1,400, and then he's like, oh, it's not like they weren't selling. They consistently sold. So why do you suddenly go out for the memes? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, you don't understand memes, Johnny. It's because you're old. I'm sorry. But us younger people understand that this is a funny commentary on capitalism. There's more to life than money.
That's why they continued. That's why he sold like 10 copies for 1,400. Then he's like, I've made too much money. Now I must.
Maybe it's not the same guy. Maybe he just had 20 copies of Poop Slinger for some reason.
Okay.
Maybe he invested.
Your story does not add up.
My story doesn't add up that a guy just had 20 copies of Poop Slinger.
Then suddenly it was like, now I'm sending them out for the memes.
What if all right, so here what about this story? So the guy who the limited rare games guy whoever actually owns the Poop Slingers has 900 copies of this, and he gives a few cases to his friends, and he's like, here, these games, people think there's only 84 of these, go sell them, it's funny.
Okay.
And then
Sure.
later on
That makes sense.
maybe so curated collectibles is like a friend, and then once he ran out, the guy's like, all right, yeah, you can go send out those other copies, it'll be funny now.
Okay, maybe, but I mean, we're still making like $1,000 a copy, right? So like, why are you suddenly $1,000 isn't nothing.
Well, I mean, these were clearly sent out for the memes. This is a piece of art. This is an art project now.
Okay.
It makes Poop Slinger more interesting.
You're really talking yourself into buying a copy.
I'm not. You see, we talked about what a Poop Slinger's worth in the on the Discord. And I think most people said around $300 to $400. I think 200. There's too many interesting games for $200. There's too many people who would buy it at $200. If Poop Slinger actually crashed to $300, I would consider buying one, because I do think that I already think, like, of all the weird ways for games to be distributed, this is one of the weirdest. Let alone this new airdrop. It's just like this doesn't happen in games. It's interesting. Like, I can imagine this happening in comics.
Yeah, in games, this is an anomaly. It is interesting. I'm not saying it's not interesting.
It's just not $700 interesting to me. And it's certainly not $3,000 interesting to me.
No. Like I said, I offered on a bunch of them around $300 because that's about what I was willing to pay. I said that's a fine price. I will get $300 worth of mental story equity for $300.
Sure.
I will enjoy it in my collection $300. Would it have made my list of 100 games I kept? Maybe. But we'll have to see.
Johnny, speaking of how we disagree on the story of Poop Slinger, we disagree on the concept of this episode, I feel like.
Yeah, we do. So we're doing two different things. Perfect. The people are going to love it.
Johnny, here, let me give the one sentence concept of this episode. You can have a collection of 100 games. What's in that collection?
Disagree. I disagree already.
How can you disagree? That's the episode.
No.
I just said it in one sentence, and you're like, no, that can't be true.
No. The question was, you have too many games, right?
Yes.
You have a room full of games, and you need to condense them down. You can only put it on one Billy bookshelf. Which games are you keeping?
It's not the Billy Bookcase challenge.
You're like, nah, I'm just going to sell everything and try to buy the best stuff. That's not interesting. Who cares? Then you should already be doing that. That's not a fun mental exercise.
Okay, all right. Well, let's go back to what you're talking about, because this is the Billy Bookcase challenge is a different thing than this episode. But we did have a poll on the Discord of what people thought the Billy Bookcase challenge was, because there's two ways of thinking about it. One, take everything you own and you're only allowed to keep what fits on one bookcase because that's your best stuff. That's the stuff that makes you happiest. Yeah. Or two, essentially sell everything and then use that money to put into one Billy Bookcase worth of stuff. So consolidate the value of your collection into better things. So instead of owning 1,000 NES cartridges, you could own 20 amazing complete in box NES games, and that would make your collection better. And the second way of thinking about it slightly edged out the first way of thinking about it, but it was actually pretty split.
It was close. So, but that's the other thing. So when we talked about this, it was about a guy who was only allowed to have one Billy Bookcase for his games. So if he bought something new, he had to sit there and then pull something out. So it was the agonizing over, I already own this stuff, and now I have to reduce something from my collection. It wasn't that he went and sold all of his stuff and then filled up a bookcase, or even if he did, it's after that, what do you put on the bookcase? How do you decide what stays and what goes on the bookshelf? So he has to agonize.
So you have to agonize. What do you mean? Well, I mean, but if I sell 10,000 videos, I don't understand. What would I do with all my stuff? I would just never upgrade it. So let's say I consolidate down to one bookcase of stuff, and then that rest of my money just goes into my retirement account. Like what?
Here's a way to think about it, and I can relate to this one. There's a fire, Tyler, and you only have time to put 100 things on a bookshelf that you can throw into a car or boxes.
Sure.
So what are the things you were grabbing?
But that's not what the bookcase is, because there isn't a fire. You're allowed to upgrade your
This
stuff.
isn't reality. It does not matter. An alien can come beam himself into your office and say, Tyler, tell me the 100 games that represent your collection. Go.
All right. Well, I guess me and Johnny are doing two different podcast episodes, which isn't the first time this has happened.
No. This is the content. This is what the people are here for us not agreeing and doing our own things. So, Tyler, you can tell them what you're going to do, but I basically looked at my collection and said, all right, if I had to pare it down to 100 games, what would I do? And I'm not doing consoles and all this other stuff. I just said games. I'm keeping 100 games, whatever edition, but my premise is I already have to own it. So the rest of it is just going to dissolve in a vat of acid. An evil villain is, holding the rest of my collection over a vat of acid, and I only get to pick 100 things. The rest goes in the acid. Whatever you want to believe happens. So yeah, I'm picking that, and I had to try to kind of figure out a way to parse that, and I will talk about what I did when we get to my list. Tyler, tell the people what your list is going to contain. Like how
I own
the
85% of the games on my list, but if I'm selling 10,000 games and consolidating to 100, I'm putting all the value into those remaining 15 games. And probably more, because my list has 2 Nintendo World Championships on it.
Yeah.
It's just no budget, no anything. I'm only allowed to own 100 video games. These are the games I'm owning, and I can't own any more. So the value doesn't really matter, because it's not like I could sell them and get some other stuff.
That's what I'm talking about. I thought we had 2 episodes here. I would say what are the one, if we were going to tell people no budget, nothing else, what are the 100 best video games you could own? That to me is an episode in itself. Where we completely uncouple ourselves from what value are you are basically building a museum of the 100 best things that represent video games. We're talking mainframes, arcades, and everything else. This is that's an episode I would want to do as well.
You're acting like it's 2 different episodes, but my list would be 90% overlapped between the 2 of those.
My list would not be anything close to it. And that's why I wanted you to do my list.
But I'm the one who came up with the concept for the episode, and you took it somewhere else.
We guys, we've literally been fighting about this episode for 2 months now? 2 months, on text, which is part of the problem is we didn't just jump on a phone call and hash it out because you don't pick up phones.
Who picks up phones? It's a dead communication medium. Who the fuck would pick up a phone call these days?
Me.
Oh,
I'm old. I pick up phones.
It's ridiculous.
The people you're talking to pick up phones.
You must be really concerned about your extended warranty, Johnny.
Are you really upset with old technology and you just don't want any of it around? Tyler, and your video game collection? I'm not going to sit here and put up with slander and bullshit from you being dead old technology. Bro, you collect video games. Old ass video games.
It's not old. It's a dead communication medium because it's been killed by spammers.
You don't have to answer people you don't know. Oh. Tyler, your phone, if you call me, your face pops up. I'm like, that's Tyler calling me. If a spammer calls me, it says spam. And I'm like, I'm not picking that up.
Well, I'm not usually in the same room as my phone, so it's just vibrating in another room. And I'm not going to go check if, maybe it'll be Johnny instead of a spammer this one time.
I know, you're so weird. Anyways, we could have resolved this by talking, not even on phone call. We got caught up with Midwest and everything else. And we got out of sync with the episodes. We just didn't have enough time to talk it through. So now we got 2 episodes that are 2 different things we were doing.
Okay.
The people don't care about any of this. They want to hear our lists.
Of the 100 best video games you could have a collection of, Johnny. Here we go.
Okay.
All right, Johnny, I'm carving out 8% of my list for an arcade. Because it was originally going to be this is the stand-in for the Billy Bookcase challenge. I started thinking about it, and I'm like, I really don't want to start thinking about the actual volume of video games. Why don't we just pick a number? And because of that, just because it's just a number now, it's I could have anything. I could have a Sega R360 arcade cabinet, which is one of the biggest arcade games ever made. But I narrowed it down to 8. I'm not getting a Sega R360. Johnny, Pong, 1972, the yellow Pong cabinet with just a CRT TV in it. I think it is iconic. I think in some alternate reality, people would consider this one of the best things you could possibly own in video games. Like, it's not the Action Comics one of video games, but I think it could have some level of that status. But instead, no one really fucking cares about this. I think it's worth like a couple $1,000, I think.
Okay.
Space Invaders, up there for most important game of the 1970s. Also, rad looking cabinet. I would never play it. I don't like Space Invaders. Pac-Man. Again, just for the historic importance, I don't like Pac-Man. Donkey Kong. Now we're talking. One of the most important and influential games ever made, and the origin of Mario. Johnny, the original run, or the original 2000 cabinets of Donkey Kong were converted from radar scope cabinets, and they have a different plaque on the back. Their board set is the TKG2 board set, and they have a red cabinet. And by very easily, most of these have been destroyed or thrown out because just the majority of old arcade games were thrown out at the end of their useful service life. So it's very rare and a very exciting top shelf thing, I think, in your collection. One of the best things I think you could possibly own is an original Donkey Kong cabinet.
I don't disagree.
Johnny, Defender. I needed a game that represented the golden age of arcades and like skill-based gaming, and it was either going to be Defender or Robotron, and I went with Defender.
Bad choice.
What bad choice?
Yeah, should have been Robotron.
All right. I mean, they're both good.
Defender's more iconic. I give you Defender is more iconic.
Street Fighter 2, I think that's an obvious pick. The 90s arcade revival, and in some senses, the most important fighting game. I think actually in every sense, the most important fighting game. And then ones you're not going to like, Johnny. Outrun and Outrun 2 SP, which are both my picks for the greatest classic arcade game and the greatest modern arcade game. I think it gives you the best experience whether you are good or bad at video games, because if you're good at Outrun, it ends in 5 or 6 minutes. And if you're bad at Outrun, you could take the easy path and you could still pretty much get 5 minutes for your quarter. And I like games that don't waste your time. And there's a whole bunch of different high scores to chase on it. Just the perfect 2 games.
Okay. I mean, I understand why you picked those 2.
That's my arcade.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not curating an arcade. I think they're your choices. And what am I going to tell you? Your opinion is bad and wrong?
I mean, yeah, that's what this episode is.
Oh, okay. Well, like, I don't know. Let's see. Is there something you don't have like a single light gun game in there, which is
light
I
gun
think
games?
exceptional.
What the?
That's like a cornerstone of arcades, and like where you still get the best experience for a light gun game. You didn't have room for one light gun game?
Light gun games are for people who don't play video games, who want to have 3 hours or 3 minutes of amusement for a credit and then never think about it again. They're so empty and nothing. They're just, it's like it's dangling keys in front of a baby.
Okay. Strong disagree. That's actually a wild fucking take.
Street Fighter 2 is a game you could play for decades and continue getting better at.
Street Fighter 2, a 3-minute experience of butt mashing that everybody. Okay.
If you dedicated your life to becoming like the world's best player at the Lost World Jurassic Park, I would think like there's probably something wrong with you.
Okay. You could go through any of these games and you could shit on them for exactly the same reasons. You spent too much of your life doing this thing. I don't know. Also, it feels like you could have had a Pac-Man in there.
I literally do have Pac-Man.
Could have
Pong,
had
Space
Pac-Man.
Invaders, Pac-Man are my first 3.
Could have had a Miss Pac-Man.
No, I go for the first,
no.
Johnny.
I'm trying something here, and it's not working. I don't really disagree with your choices.
Give me your first lot of games here, then.
No, I want to hear all yours.
We're going through all of mine because we're having 2 separate episodes here. All right.
Yeah, we're going through all of yours.
I think I've got about 10 Nintendo grails. So
well, yeah. So more on your arcade list. I think it's a fine list. I just would have put one light gun game. That's it. I think you covered most of what I would have wanted to see there.
I've got a light gun game.
You know what? You could have like
a
Gauntlet maybe. Like Gauntlet's a strong arcade game.
It's all right. There's no way it would make a top 100 anything for me, but I mean, I wouldn't mind having.
I'm just talking about if I'm curating experience, like I'm having an arcade. That's like just one I would want in there.
I'm getting these more for the collectible value, and I realize that Outrun and Outrun 2 are like my 2 favorite games, but like you want to own your favorite stuff. But I'm not just getting it for gameplay value here.
I don't disagree. I did the same thing with my list. It's a combination of nostalgia, collectability, and value.
All right, Johnny, you need Nintendo Grails if you're going to curate things to 100 games. I'm just going to say every Nintendo Grail is overrated. A lot of them are stupid, insignificant contest prizes. Stadium events is like the dumbest fucking thing. It's like, we don't even fully know why it's rare. Like, yes, there is that one guy who says that he was there when Stadium Events was recalled and destroyed, and he saved a few sealed copies for himself. Very likely it was just recalled. But it's a fucking stupid Power Pad game. It's nothing. It's dumb. Nintendo World Championships Gold, magazine contest prize. These aren't like significant games, but they're the games everybody wants. And I grew up collecting I started in the mid 2000s, and this was it for video games. Like the Nintendo Grails were it. So Johnny, we are dedicating some space on the list to Stadium Events. The rarest game in the US licensed set.
I don't disagree. Stadium Events, and you should have both Nintendo World Championships on there.
Yep. And just to be clear, the 5-screw Stadium Events, which is the rarer version of Stadium Events, because, I mean, we're only going to 100. We got to ball out.
Talking about the best ones, yeah.
And yes, Nintendo World Championships Gray and Gold. I'm going to get serial number 0001 for the Gray. And I'm going to get the one that Bunny Boy just sold for the Gold. The grand prize winners, Nintendo World Championships Gold.
Okay.
Also, arguably the rarest game in the US license set because it was released to the public. So I'm sorry, your NES set is incomplete without Nintendo World Championships Gold.
Sorry that is not true if you collect retail sets.
The gray cartridges were almost definitely stolen or given away by people who didn't own them. So you don't have to count that in your set.
Hey, don't worry, guys. You have to now count every promotional item that's ever been released.
I'm a little surprised that Nintendo has never tried to go after people who own NWC Gray just because they're such a litigious company. But I guess it's just a stupid American thing. Maybe it was like a piece of Japanese culture.
Now it's part of their lore too. So like,
you're right. They get
more. They get more out of them being out there and talked about than that if they destroyed them.
Johnny, 6-in-1, Myriad 6-in-1.
Terrible choice.
One of the rarest unlicensed game, probably the rarest unlicensed game that people count for the quote unquote unlicensed US set. They made less than 1,000 of them. I think the serial numbers go up into like the 800s. This is, for those who don't know, there was a game that used to be rare called Caltron 6-in-1. And Caltron went out of business and their unsold stock got bought up by a publisher called Myriad, and they just slapped new stickers on it and sold it in a new box. And it became Myriad 6-in-1. It's the exact same cartridge, just with a sticker on it. But it's super rare. And because Caltron was rare, it was like this doubly rare thing. But now, in the 2010s, someone found like a cache of Caltron 6-in-1s in Mexico. So there's just a whole bunch of sealed copies of Caltron 6-in-1 now. So that's not rare anymore. But I don't care. Myriad 6-in-1, I think it's too cool.
Okay, how much does that go for?
Who bought the last one? Joe? Like $7,000, $8,000, I think. Okay. For a nice complete
box. It is
box.
Expensive, so I'll allow it. It's expensive.
All right.
It made it in.
Johnny, Cheetah Men 2. The game that's exciting because it was never released. So this was the, I guess, sequel to Action 52. Action 52, the last game on the cartridge, is Cheetah Men, which is the best game on Action 52, or at least it has the best music. And they decided to make a standalone sequel. It's garbage, but most unlicensed NES games are garbage. It doesn't even work. I don't think in Cheetah Men 2 you can even beat like the third level. There's just a bug that prevents you from beating it. But the cool part is it was never released. It was just sat in a warehouse, and then somebody in Florida found 1,500 copies in a warehouse. Was it Mike Etler involved in this somehow? I don't know. This was before my time when Cheetah Men 2 was found.
That's so many more copies than of Poop Slinger that exists, just saying.
This is the interesting thing. So this was, I don't know who found this, but this was essentially released directly into the collector's market. 1,500 copies of Cheetah Men 2. Everybody knew it was unreleased. Everybody knew it was like this amazing, like cool thing. And you'll still find cartridge-only copies of Cheetah Men 2, and they still don't come up that often Considering you would think that like half the people who have these are collectors. And is it just that everyone who has one is like an NES nerd and is never giving up their copy of Cheetah Men 2?
Yeah. Yep.
So, like, once you guys start dying in 20 years, once the older NES guys start dying, like, is Cheetah Men 2 going to flood the market?
I mean, maybe as these collections start getting parsed out, but it's like old men who pass it on to other old men who want this kind of stuff. And then where does it go from there? Just once those people all age out and no one gives a shit, then it all goes away.
So Cheetah Men 2 was my example. I made a YouTube video a while ago showing how like prices were going up on stupid stuff like Mario games and Zelda games, and then I showed the Cheetah Men 2 price before and after the 2021 boom, and it was the same price. I think it went down like $100 or something.
Love that.
Last Cheetah Men 2 on Heritage Auctions, man. 8.0 complete in box. It looks like it still has the shrink wrap on it, Johnny. What does a Cheetah Men 2 sell for in 2024?
No clue.
$2,800. That is, I mean, that seems so low for what I consider one of like the grails of NES. Johnny, the Legend of Zelda Charumera version for the Famicom Disk System.
Hard agree.
This is a limited to 1,500 contest prize. When the original Legend of Zelda came out, they ran a promotion with the ramen company Charumera, and if you won the promotion, you got a Famicom, like the whole console with a special sticker on it. It came with a carrying case, and you got a special version of The Legend of Zelda. It has a different sticker than the retail copy. Otherwise, it's identical to the early retail release of The Legend of Zelda. At least one source says these came out before the retail version, but this is Japanese late 1980s information. We'll never be able to confirm that ever. So, but either way, promotional copy of the original Zelda. It's pretty hard to beat that on rarity and significance.
Yeah.
Johnny, Golf Japan Course Champions Course. The rarest Nintendo game ever made. Limited to 100 copies, by the way. Oh, I have one.
Oh, okay. Is that why you put it on your list?
No, it's I went after this because I made this list. So my original list in like in the 2020s, I made a list. It was about 200 games. It was just the best games, and I'm looking at stuff. I'm like, no, this is one of the best things I think you can own. This is the grand prize of Nintendo's first ever contest. You had to you faxed in your Golf Japan Course scores at special kiosks they had at retailers around Japan, and the top 100 scores each got Golf Japan Course Champions Course. I don't really know what the name of this is. It's the Champions Course, so it's basically it's the Famicom golf game, but they made a special, extremely difficult course, and there's only 100 copies of it. I think it's super neat.
Pretty cool. No, I think that's cool.
You're not going to agree with my next one, Johnny. It's the rarest licensed NES game, The Grail, Mahjong, the Hong Kong exclusive NES game.
Why wouldn't I agree?
I don't know. This is like when you get into the weeds of NES, I don't know. Sometimes like some of this stuff is pretty dumb. I think most people would not include Mahjong on their top 100 games.
I also like Mahjong, so it like actual Mahjong. So I'm a little softer on that because I like Mahjong.
I like Mahjong too. I used to think that the Famicom version of Mahjong was the first Mahjong game, and as I've gotten deeper into Japanese computer games, I was very wrong about that.
Yup.
I'm pretty sure it's the first Mahjong console game, though. Not this NES version. This NES version is a different thing, I think. Unless it's the same game as the Famicom one, I don't even know. I don't know anything about this. I just know I see the box and I'm like, oh, it's Mahjong. That's a game I'm supposed to care about. No one has that. And like you go on Nintendo Age and people are like, only 6 copies are known to be in collectors' hands. And it doesn't make any sense. Why is this game so rare? It came out in Hong Kong, a place that I know from my family loves Mahjong.
Maybe they just all got thrown away.
Maybe everyone's just keeping it. It's like the Cheetah Men 2 where everyone's just like, oh, I'm not getting rid of my copy of Mahjong. I love Mahjong.
Who knows? Or maybe it never like officially got sold. Maybe there was like a few test copies out there and they never went to full production. That's the problem when you have. That's the problem. Like every time someone comes up and there's like only 3 of these exist, I'm like, so are these production samples? Are these market test samples? Like what are these? Because people are like, oh no, it's got a box and it's got a UPC, so it must be real. I'm like, it exists. I don't dispute it exists, but people don't just make 6 games. That's not how production works. So what
I
happened?
mean, there are some stuff that I think clearly falls into that category, like the share data publisher variant of Chiller. But like Mahjong, there's clearly enough copies around. It's in the double digits, like in collector hands, which means there's more than double
Yeah.
digits out there.
Yeah, I mean, but still, let's say there was 50. I would still be skeptical at 50.
All right. I don't know enough about production. I'd have to ask Josh Barley, our resident production engineer.
You know, or anyone who's ever seen how a factory operates and been in a factory. Oh, I have. It's just not. It's not how factories work. It's a weird thing to.
They make 84 copies, then they shut off the production lines, Johnny.
Uh-huh. Like maybe that would be like a small batch by hand, hand assembly. It's not impossible for only 84 copies to be made, but the cost of that would be excessive. That's how production works. The cost goes down the more you make.
I mean, all right. So on NES, the minimum production runs traditionally for like licensed games was 10,000. But like you can imagine, it's a smaller region. NES is not as popular globally. Like you could see a production of a game like $1,000, and we're going back to the 80s. Like these were like hand packaged. People, some of them people say like, "Oh, I'm gonna get my unopened Japanese games with the. I'm gonna look at the hinge." And it's like these were packed by hand a lot of the time. So it's like, okay, someone touched your game. I hate to tell you. But I can see a production run of 1,000 for Mahjong. I don't know why it would only be 1,000 for a game like Mahjong, but I could see that perfect round number in my head, even though it's probably not a perfect round number.
Like, okay, so like it depends where it is on the factory line. And that's the other thing is, like, to get 84 games, people say, oh yeah, well, it's not impossible that someone could have just paid it. It's like, yes, but like when you go into a factory and like if this was like a house assembly, it's a little bit different because what someone does in their house or in a small shop is. But if you're like at like actual factory lines where there's real production going on, you know, you have to rent that space and that time and like to change over all the dies for the cutting, just like to get the line set up for that thing to only do 84 is like, it's just cost prohibitive. Usually they want to do more than that. So there has to be something happening. Yeah, I don't know. But again, there are like, you do have assemblers where you could make 50 copies and it wouldn't be a big deal. But that, again, that's like, is that a full retail release? I don't know. It's weird. And I know a good deal about factory production and how things are assembled and, how things go into production, but I don't know what was happening then and in Japan. So there will always be a question.
Johnny, speaking of assembling small batches by hand, number 17 on the list, Papillon Gals for the NES, the 72-pin version of Papillon Gals, perhaps the rarest unlicensed NES game, quote unquote, released in the US. So, Thin Chen Enterprise, who went under the trade name,
notorious US company.
It's a Taiwanese company that made a bunch of unlicensed and bootleg and weird games, some porn games. Papillon Gals is a porn game. It's the porn version of Galactic Crusader, another one of the most obscure NES games. So there's like 67 Sachin games that were released in a 72-pin NES format, and for whatever reason, there's very, very few copies of Papillon Gals. Like only a couple are known to be in collectors' hands. And when you look at Sachin games, like these were clearly like someone in the factory was just throwing this stuff together for somebody. Like the boxes are different between releases. They have different color boxes. They slap like the cartridge label onto generic boxes. And that's why we have all these weird like color variants for all these Sachin games. Because there was like, oh, there's this big run of Huge Insects that came in a purple box, and there's like dozens of those. But oh, if you have Huge Insect that came in a green box, that was just like someone in the factory threw a couple of those together for somebody. And so some of the rare Sachin stuff, there's like very, very little of it. And just Papillon Gals is the one for 72-pin NES games that could have technically been released in the US. Who knows how they got here? No one cares about this. This is the most obscure thing on the entire list, I think. I think it's super cool.
Yeah, I wonder how that was made. I wonder what the thinking was. Like, oh, we got this game, just like get it out, use whatever parts we have, or was this a test?
So this again before my time, but Boot God, I believe in the very early 2000s, imported full sets of Sachin games to the US, and that contained everything except Papillon Gals for some reason. And that's why every Sachin game is rare, but this one is particularly rare.
Indeed.
Johnny, Rockman 4, the gold cartridge on Famicom, the prize cartridge given to the art contest winners who designed the Rockman 4 Robot Masters. This is the Pikachu illustrator of video games. It literally the exact same thing. It's an extremely rare thing given out as an art contest prize. But for some reason, this version is not worth $17 million. And I don't really know why. I think it's the best Famicom prize cartridge. Well, it's the best, like the rarest one. And Rockman's significant.
Okay.
So why don't people want this? I mean, I guess people do want it, but like, why has so like you would think like someone like Jeremy Padawan, someone with like essentially unlimited resources who could just go splash around hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like we know, 4 or 5 people who currently have this. They all live in Japan, and like some of them are contactable on Twitter because people have asked them if they still own these copies. Why has someone not gone to them and be like, "Hey, I'm just going to give you $100,000 for this Mega Man thing," or like I don't know, see if they'll take $20,000. I bet people have lowballed them, but like Jeremy Padawan, come on, you got unlimited money. Go get this, hype this, make this a thing. It's super cool. It's the Pikachu illustrator.
Yeah. I don't know. It does seem like it should be worth more. There should be more interest, but it just might be a marketing problem, like you said.
I think it is. It's waiting to be hyped as the Pikachu illustrator. And I think the only time I've ever even seen a price, there's an old picture of one at Super Potato, and it was like about $5,000, and that was supposed to be like we have a price tag on this, but we're not really selling it. And now, like in the modern video game market, it's like $5,000. It's such a ridiculously low price for one of the biggest grails on the entire console.
It is a little underpriced there, but
Johnny, my next one is on Heritage Auctions right now, and I don't think you're going to agree with it.
All right.
Garage Cart from 2005.
Sure is a thing.
The first commercially sold NES homebrew, limited to 24 copies, sold on NES Dev, I think there were $40. They sold out pretty quickly. Again, before my time. But man, NES is the coolest console. It's got the licensed games, the unlicensed games, the pirate games, and now it has this ongoing history of homebrew, and there was a gap between the 90s and 2005 with Garage Cart, and this is sort of the rebirth of the NES, and I think it's awesome.
Okay.
Those are my NES grails, Johnny. Yeah, I don't even know what Garage Cart's worth anymore. I used to think it was worth about $1,000, and these days that's going to be super low.
Or it's going to sell for $12 with a $100 buyer premium.
It's currently at $650 with 20 days left.
Okay, maybe people are interested. Maybe the hobby is alive. Also, what a good time to be selling things.
That's gloss sticker sealed Super Mario Brothers is going for $600,000 or $700,000 right now.
So that's like the perfect item to have if you want to sell something, right? Like when those people don't spend money on that, and you want to be after that when those people lose and they have money to spend on other things. You want to be coming in after that thing.
I mean, you want to be in the same auction. There's a 9.8 A+ hang tab Mario that's going for a few $100,000 too right now. The hobby's alive if you're a Super Mario Brothers and nothing else.
We're doing it.
Johnny, I have 3 Atari Grails. I didn't want to spend too much of my list on just random rare shit, so we're cutting it down here.
Okay.
Atlantis 2 for the Atari 2600. One of the coolest competition cartridges ever because it wasn't supposed to be part of the competition. Basically, there was a competition for the game Atlantis, and too many people could play the game essentially indefinitely, so they had to send out a harder version of the game to the top scorers that the original Atlantis I think has 4 digits for your score. This one has 3 digits and it scores much lower. And it's just a harder version of the game. Super cool. We don't know exactly how many were made, but it's low double digits. People used to say 10, but it's definitely not 10. Probably around, I don't know, 20 to 40. It's cool. Johnny, Gamma Attack, the quote-unquote rarest video game ever.
2 of them.
We said on our old podcast that there was one known to exist. We were wrong because at some point the son of the guy who developed Gamma Attack came out and said that he still had a copy. So there are actually 2 copies of Gamma Attack. I don't care. I want to be starting this podcast every time, and I want to say, hey there, I'm Tyler. I own Gamma Attack. I'm better than you. Gamma Attack's on
Okay. People, I don't think they're going to feel very slighted by that.
I know. The thing is, like, because I grew up collecting on like Nintendo age and Atari age, these are the things that got in my head, like, oh yeah, the coolest collector in the world, they would own Gamma Attack. And I'm still like that. That's still part of who I am.
I mean, I was there too, but yeah, some of these things just did not imprint on me.
Pepsi Invaders. Limited to 125, another Super Atari Grail. This was given to Coke executives at some conference. And it's basically just a Space Invaders hack where you shoot Pepsi. And the doubly fascinating thing is not that it was just given to Coke executives, which has to be up there for the most interesting way a game has ever been distributed, but they would have seen this as like a stupid toy. Like people, you couldn't give video games to 50-year-olds in the 1980s and they wouldn't be like, oh, great, a video game. Like if you got a video game from work, you'd be like, oh, cool, a video game. They would be like, oh, this is a toy. This is stupid. I'll give this to my kid. So, not a lot of complete in box copies of Pepsi Invaders still out there. I love that.
Also, calling it Pepsi Invaders is still crazy to me. They didn't brand it to themselves like Coca-Cola Conquest or something else.
I don't even know where the Pepsi Invaders game name comes from because it comes in a plain white box with just a red sticker that says like Atari goes better with Coke or something. I don't know where Pepsi Invaders comes from.
Maybe it's on the splash screen. Yeah.
All right, Johnny, I got three other rarities here. Number 23, okay. Dungeon of Doom for the Apple II. I was thinking about it and I'm like, yeah, you know what? In my top 100, I have room for Dungeon of Doom. We didn't talk about Midwest Gaming Classic yet. Dungeon of Doom was at the Midwest Gaming Classic. I didn't even know that John Brown was going to be there. He was there showcasing the game. He had my YouTube video playing on repeat, and he was clearly hyping it up, like marketing it as the rarest video game ever, which I think is a little bit funny. I still think it's a cool game. I think it's cool, obviously, because also because I was involved in like dumping it. I was probably the first person to play it in 40 years. But I don't know. I bet there's a bunch of sort of one-off video games like that. So I don't know if it is the rarest video game ever, but he isn't wrong. There is only one copy known, which makes it at least tied for the rarest video game ever.
Yeah, at that point, you like... There's going to be a lot of people tied for one video game, and then that gets into the what does this even count as?
See, I definitely agree with that, but it does come in retail packaging, and it was reviewed in magazines at the time. You can actually find a couple magazine reviews of this game. Yeah,
so like it could have been sent out to reviewers. They had one production sample ready to go as like a display and for marketing pieces, and then what happened?
Something tells me that the people who made Dungeon of Doom were not sending out review copies to magazines.
Well, then how did they get reviewed?
People bought them at CompUSA or Computerland, whatever. Johnny, I've got other rarities. I got a light gun game at number 24. It's the Elemental Gearbolt Assassin's Case. And this is another sort of circumstance of when I grew up collecting. Man, Elemental Gearbolt Assassin's Case on like Digipress and stuff. I thought this was the coolest game you could possibly own.
It is the coolest PlayStation 1 game.
It's the PlayStation Grail. It is a silver briefcase, like I'm sure like a shitty cheap briefcase that was given away at E3 1998. I think they were running like contests in Elemental Gearbolt, and if you like won the contest, they would give you a case. And all it is a copy of the game and a spray painted gold gun con. And I believe it came with a note like, you probably shouldn't actually play with this gun con. The paint's gonna come off.
Which is hilarious.
It is. There are two variants of this, actually. One has a gold spray painted memory card, and the other one just has a red memory card, which is the one that our friend Game-Rave has, Jason. What do you think? Do you think that they got halfway through making these and they're like, hey, we could also just spray paint these memory cards? Or do you think that they got halfway through spray painting them and they're like, I'm done spray painting the memory cards, dude, who cares?
They just ran out of spray paint. They're like, fuck it, just keep going.
Spray.
Just put the red one in there.
Anyway, PlayStation Grail. Johnny, other PlayStation Grail, number 25, Uncharted 2, the Fortune Hunter Edition. A big, dumb, modern collectible thing. I hate it. But one, it is the best game, one of the best games of like the PS3 era. And two, it's actually rare. They actually made a rare collector's edition for once. There's only 250 of them. And you know what? You could find rare games these days, but they're all for like stupid indie games that no one actually fucking cares about. So the fact that there's an actually rare collector's edition of one of the best games of a generation, I want the Fortune Hunter edition.
It is pretty cool.
They had a mini game in the Uncharted 2 land of PlayStation Home where like the highest person on that leaderboard was going to win a Fortune Hunter edition. And I spent hours grinding that stupid fucking game, and I did not win the Fortune Hunter edition.
Why don't you just buy this one that's like $7,000?
Yeah, that's because they like when this came out, this was $2,000. I that's a number I'm just remembering from like the probably 2010s, and like $2,000 for a video game in the 2010s was like a lot. This was immediately like seen as like a super valuable video game, and since then it's gone up to $5,000 to $9,000, and just. I'd only get it if money didn't matter, like on this top 100 list.
Yeah, there's currently 4 on eBay ranging between $10,000 and $7,000.
They're always missing something though.
Probably.
Hold on, I'm looking. There's really 4 on eBay.
Yeah,
ultra rare signed.
They're like all signed.
Oh, they're all signed. Oh, see, that's cool. It's signed. Oh, he's touching the purba, the dagger, with his hand. Don't touch my thing. You could pay $8,000 for that.
Or you could pay for that set. And they're all or best offers, so you know you can get it for less. If you put 5,000, I bet you get it.
It's in my mind. I think this is cool because I was there when it came out and I was trying to get one. And if I had it in my hand, I'd be like, this thing's a piece of shit. It's a modern collector's edition. Has a big, stupid, cheap box, a big, stupid, cheap replica dagger. It's like they spent $30 making this, and I just spent $8,000 on this.
It's fine.
My next 6 games are just some personal games that I assumed weren't going to appear on your list, but it turns out most of these games aren't going to appear on your list. So this section is just some random games.
Okay.
Johnny, Ninja Gaiden 3 on the NES.
Not on my list.
It's the best action game.
Okay.
I've talked about Ninja Gaiden 3 a lot. I'm going to have Ninja Gaiden 3 in my collection. That makes it onto my Billy bookcase.
I 100% expected it to be there. Would be disappointed if not.
Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 for the PC. Most of the things on my list, I'm picking the first historic entry in a thing just to kind of represent the whole thing. But man, Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 is so much better than Roller Coaster Tycoon that I'm just getting that. And it's a stupid small box PC game. But it's really cool. If you haven't checked out Open RCT 2, they are still developing Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 to this day. Not Chris Sawyer, but some guys are. Johnny, the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind Collector's Edition for the personal computer.
Okay.
I said this is perhaps the biggest game that has defined my gaming taste because of the difference between Morrowind and Oblivion. Both games I love, but Morrowind feels very, very different from Oblivion. And even though I love Oblivion, In a lot of ways, I think it ruined video games forever.
Why didn't you just pick Skyrim, bro?
But they're what? You
I
cut
just
that out.
wanted to break your brain for a second.
Cut
That's all.
that out, Johnny. Metroid Prime. I guess
Hey.
I get a sealed made in Japan copy. That game's better than Super Metroid. So that goes on the list. Not many games from, not many console games from the 2000s are going to make this top 100, but Metroid Prime makes it.
Okay.
Number 30, Johnny, Divinity Original Sin, the Kickstarter exclusive signed limited edition, which was a Kickstarter tier limited to 200 copies, I think. This is enormous. This is like Zelda Breath of the Wild Master Edition size. It's a really big box, and it has like a statue, and it doesn't even come with a copy of the fucking game. It has like a digital code in it. I hate it so much, but it's my favorite CRPG, and even though it's a code in a box, it's making my top 100. I tell myself that it's still cool to own because it's rare, but I know I'm lying to myself.
Just copium.
There's no rarity in digital codes.
Maybe there is.
Johnny, another game that's not going to make anybody's list is Super Mario Maker 2. Unless you're in the Super Mario Maker 2 community. That's the best platform game of all time. And I think the newest game on this list by far. Not going to fight me on it. You think that's a fine addition to a collection that you can only have 100 games, putting a copy of Super Mario Maker 2 for the Nintendo Switch in there.
These are your personal choices, and you love Super Mario 2.
All right. Yes, Super Mario 2 is my favorite. The Japanese one.
Super Mario Maker 2. Jesus Christ. Don't be so pedantic.
Historical 1960s and 70s games, Johnny.
Oh boy, here we go.
Number 32. Space War for the PDP-1. The one that got away. The game I bid the most money on by many thousands of dollars over anything else I've ever tried to win. There was a punch tape copy of Space War from Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen, and it was like a copy of Space War from MIT. And it's not the first video game, but it's probably the most significant, really early video game. And it's probably the earliest video game that you could actually own the media of, because it's punch tape media. You would feed this into a computer to run the game. And like, I don't know, like OXO and Tennis for Two, I'm sure there are no artifacts remaining of those. And I think this sold for something like $19,000, I think. I just feel like it was so underpriced for how significant it is, but I can't spend $20,000 on a fucking video game because I'm a normal human being. Man, I want to own that copy of Space War.
Debatable, but okay.
What's debatable?
That you are a normal human being.
You're right. But I have more financial sense than to spend $20,000 on a piece of computer tape from 1962.
You are only limited. This episode is proof that you are only limited by your current financial situation.
It's true. There was another one.
This is not a sensible choice. You're not intellectually like, that's stupid to own. Why would I put that in my house? You're just like, I can't afford it. That's what's really happening.
This sold on one of those one of those serious auction houses. It was like RR Auctions or something like that. And there was another thing in the same auction. They had a paperweight of a quarter from the original Pong arcade cabinet. It was like from Nolan Bushnell or something. And he took one of the quarters from the first cash box of Pong, and he like encased it in resin and made it a paperweight. And I wanted it so bad, and it went for like multiple thousands of dollars. Fuck, these real auction house people just will spend anything.
Stop being a poor.
There's two ways of doing it. You could either, one, stop being poor, or two, be happy with what you have in life and live a simple, content existence. And just the correct option is to just stop being fucking poor and spend thousands of dollars on stupid bullshit, guys.
Yeah, stop being poor. Yeah, absolutely. Buy a giant house. I've told you my dream. I just want a giant warehouse with a house attached to it.
And a staff organizing the video games.
Yes. Just like the dumbest shit. If this, my world of having $1 million is not the same as other people's. They're like, I want these 10 Ferraris or whatever, like Maseratis, weird sports cars. And I'm just like, I need a warehouse to put video games and then hire people to make sure they are clean and nice and organized. And we need to buy hundreds of copies of each one so we can document everything. Cool.
And then I'm not going to play them.
Yeah, are you going to play all those? Oh, absolutely not. That's crazy.
Number 33,
No brain rot
Johnny,
here.
something that I think is missing from most people's collection. And another thing that I don't understand why it's not
Is it
bigger than it is a Magnavox Odyssey from 1972, the first video game console.
I agree with you.
It is so cool. The fucking Pong is based on the Odyssey. It's a complete ripoff. And it's so 1970s, and there's just not many 1970s-ass things in video games. I mean, the Atari 2600 is. It's got wood grain paneling, but we're lacking cool stuff from the 70s that people actually want to own. Number 34, Johnny, a Calibeth World of Doom for the Apple II. This is the game that came before Ultima, for those who are not big Ultima fans. And I think this would traditionally be seen as the holy grail of computer games. Richard Garriott, the multi-millionaire who's been to space based on just the profits of the Ultima series, he hand-assembled the original copies of a Calibeth and sold them at his job in a store in, I think, Texas called Computerland. And I don't know if there are actually any original known copies of a Calibeth in collector hands. There might be. I feel like I think they had like a green sticker on it, and that's how you know if it's an original copy, but I don't know if I saw like a reproduction or something. But super multimillionaire Richard Garriott still has the materials he used to assemble these original copies of a Calibeth, and he has given some out over the years as part of various promotions and to friends and stuff. And I still want one of these kind of new old stock copies of a Calibeth. They're still worth tens of thousands of dollars. It's a Calibeth. It's really cool, Johnny. All your RPGs can go back to a Calibeth.
Yeah, I think that's a very cool thing to own. And I think it would be worth getting even one of these newly constructed ones.
Zork, Johnny. Number 35. For the PDP-11. I think the first print was actually on TRS-80. But before the TRS-80 version... So the guys who made Zork, they went to Personal Software and they're like, all right, we're going to make a TRS-80 version, an Apple II version, and we developed this on the PDP-10, so we want to sell a commercial version for PDP-11 mainframe computers. And Personal Software was like, we're not going to sell a PDP-11 mainframe version of this game. How about this TRS-80, though? This thing's pretty cool, right? So the guys who made Zork went to PDP-11 user groups and just basically self-published the game for the PDP-11, and they sold, quote, about 20 copies, none of which are known to exist today. But there is one remaining manual from the PDP-11 version of the game. So if there is a copy of Zork, I want the copy of Zork, but if there isn't, I want the one remaining manual from Zork.
If I can't have it, I'll take the manual. I love it.
All right, Johnny, we're going to the 80s.
Okay.
Technically, I think that came out in 1980, and probably Calibeth did too, but we're breaking up sections here. Mystery House. Have you heard of this one?
I have heard of Mystery House, yeah.
Mystery House is the first graphic adventure game, and it's also probably up there with a Calibeth as like the holy grail of computer games. It's a lot less rare than a Calibeth, but it's the first Sierra game. And the first edition came in a baggie with a blue card, and the 48K required text in the top right was handwritten instead of typed. That's how you know you have a first edition. And it's a spooky, it's one of these, I feel like every adventure game, every horror adventure game from the early 1980s is like, you go into a spooky house and collect a bunch of items, and you gotta get out.
Okay,
And
so I will disagree with you here. It's not a haunted house. Mystery House is more of a murder mystery. Think more Clue, less haunted house.
That's still horror.
Mm,
You're getting murdered. So you're a detective in Mystery House? I have not played Mystery House.
So yeah, Mystery House. You are trying to find out that. So I'm gonna save it because I'm gonna talk about Mystery House this Halloween.
Mm.
Hopefully I can talk about it, and I don't want to spoil whether it qualifies or it doesn't. But I will tell you, it's on a razor's edge. Either way,
I'm at the edge of my seat.
I know you are.
Johnny, number 37 is Rogue, the first DOS port of Rogue. So Rogue is another mainframe game, and
Is that like a roguelike?
it's a roguelike, yes.
Okay.
One of the few games on this list that has named an entire genre, and the name has stuck around. I think more people know the term roguelike than know the game Rogue at this point, which is very
Absolutely
interesting.
correct.
Because everyone knows Castlevania and Metroid when you make Metroidvania, which is a stupid, terrible name. But I think like Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they don't know what Rogue is.
Is it dumber? So let's talk about this real quick. Is Metroidvania dumber than roguelike?
Yes. What are you talking about?
Why?
It's mashing up two names and it's a dumb name and I hate it. So
it's doing the exact same work.
If there's a progenitor of a genre, or at least a game that popularizes something, and you say, oh, it's this clone, if it's a Doom clone or a Vampire Survivors clone or something, I think it's very natural to do that until the genre has a real name. And I think that roguelike should have gotten a different name, procedural something. I don't know. It should have got a better name and we didn't. But I hate that we're talking Metroidvania, a game from 1986 combined with a game from 1997, and we're mashing them up. It should just be called Vania-likes, because Castlevania, we're basically just talking about Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Metroid doesn't even come into the fucking equation. Castlevania Symphony of the Night has all the elements of a Metroidvania, so why are we even saying the word Metroid?
I don't know. It's like it's just an adventure game.
It's a platform adventure game, though.
Okay. Platform adventure. Got it.
Perfect. Thank you. Anyway, roguelike. Rogue is not the first roguelike. Beneath Apple Manor might be the first roguelike, but no one says Beneath Apple Manor-like.
Just doesn't have that ring to it.
It doesn't.
Manor-like might have made it.
Manor-like would be.
But then it sounds like Men-are-like or Manor-like, and that's weird.
So the first version of Rogue, it comes in this like stark black and red, just like Digipress, the DOS version, and I've never seen one for sale. But other versions of Rogue are pretty gettable. But these are my top 100. I'm allowed to get whatever I want. I want that black and red DOS first edition. Although the very first editions, it was like a mainframe game, like a lot of these games.
Why do you quote black and red to Digipress and not Nintendo? It's so weird.
Like evil looking black and red. I don't know. I just associate Nintendo with red. Okay. I wouldn't see like something pure black and red and be like, oh yeah, definitely Nintendo.
Just black boxes, red.
You just look at all you think about is Super Nintendo, Johnny.
Okay. Or black games.
Number 38, Wizardry Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord for Apple II. Can you believe that Wizardry made it onto my list?
I cannot.
Johnny, almost every RPG, Eastern and Western, can trace its roots through wizardry. Even Persona 5. The Apple II First Edition has a misprint on the front of the box where instead of Robert Woodhead's name, it says Surtech Software. And there's also a hand-stamped errata notice on the inside cover of that box, which is how you know you have a first print. Very cool. Johnny, number 39, you're not going to believe it, Ultima for the Apple II.
Oh my god, following up after Wizardry?
Almost every RPG, Eastern and Western, can trace its roots through Ultima, Johnny.
Oh, what about Alcabeth?
I'm greedy. I have both Akalabeth and Ultima. Ultima's the more important game, and Akalabeth is kind of there because it's the rare grail. The interesting thing about these two games is Wizardry is essentially a ripoff of a game called Oubliette on the Play-Doh network, and it's not like an inspired, like, oh, did they play it? Like, the guy who, I forgot not Robert Woodhead, the other guy who made this, like, clearly played Oubliette, and like the people who developed Oubliette were like mad at the Wizardry, that Wizardry essentially ripped it off. And the interesting part about Ultima is that Richard Garriott did not play the original, like the very early RPGs on the Plato Network. So Ultima was essentially based on just Dungeons and Dragons. And these two things, that's why these two things became separate pillars. And that's why I always have them both as the pillars of RPGs rather than one influencing the other. Because they kind of came out around the same time and they both had different influences.
Oubliette is a dungeon for people who don't know. It's like
It's a stupid French word. Ugh.
So, a funny reason that most people know this word is from the movie Labyrinth.
Is that why you know this word, and that's why most people know this word?
No, I was reading up on this dumb word once because I didn't know. I was like, I know this word. Where have I heard it? And there's a magic card for it. So I was doing some research, and it was one of the cited places where most people have heard that word because it's not a common word to hear.
I mean, you don't think people are looking into RPG history and look into obscure Plato Network games, and they're like, oh, Oubliette for the Plato Network.
No. Would you got Oubliette on your list?
No, but it was on my list when I made a list of like 200 games that I want to own.
Oh.
There is a rare DOS port of Oubliette, but it came out in like the 90s or something. There's zero historical significance, and it's just a DOS remake of the original game. And one came up for like $400 on eBay once, and I was like waffling on it, and someone bought it while I was thinking about it.
So you would definitely take a Calibeth over Oubliette.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, the DOS Oubliette is nothing. It's a remake, basically.
I mean, just in general.
I mean, if I could own the Plato Network stuff, I would own any Plato Network game. If there was like punch tape for like Petit 5 or D&D or like one of these like real classic RPGs, like I would take that over almost anything, dude. I would take that over Ultima. I would take that over Wizardry. That's so cool. I know I talk about these Plato games. There's this Plato emulator. It's like a terminal you install on your computer, and you could connect to an emulation of the original Plato Network. And it has all the games on it. And just like go play the game. They're all so much more complicated than you would possibly imagine. It blows like early computer games and NES out of the water. Number 40.
Okay.
Metal Gear for the MSX2, Johnny. This is a weird one. I don't know how this made the list, but it made the list. You might say it's because I'm a big Metal Gear fan.
Oh.
But it's Hideo Kojima's first game. It's the first game in the Metal Gear franchise, and it's the first stealth game that matters. I'm sorry, 1979's Shoplifting Boy. You didn't make the cut.
No one knows what that is.
Here's how you might find out Shoplifting Boy. You go on Wikipedia, you search for stealth game, and under the history section, they'll be like, there's this game called Shoplifting Boy on the PC 88 or something. No one knows.
Thank God for bored old white guys just updating these wiki pages with this kind of info.
They're doing a great job. I think that 15 years ago, Wikipedia was a really dicey place for video game history information, and it's only gotten much better. All like the weird little stupid edge cases. Like, there was definitely a guy who knew about Shoplifting fucking Boy, and it was probably like, oh, this stupid stealth article doesn't even know about Shoplifting Boy, and all these little pedantic things are making their way onto Wikipedia. I'm very happy with those editors. Number 41, though, Johnny, John Madden Football. And the correct choice would be the Sega Genesis version, because that's the one that actually changed the direction of sports games forever and became the foundation of one of the biggest franchises of sports games ever. I think the biggest is actually FIFA. But we're going with the original Apple II version because I think it's cooler and it's way rarer. It's not really a rare game, but it's a lot rarer than the Genesis game.
Okay.
And it's the technical first entry in the Madden franchise, even though the Genesis one is the one that matters. Number 42, Johnny, Sim City for the Commodore Amiga. It's Sim City. It's got you. This better be on your list. I love Sim City. Not even the Super Nintendo version? That's one of the only console ports that'll ever be like, yeah, this is a fucking awesome console port of a computer game that should be played with a mouse. But they did it.
First Sim game I played is Sim Earth.
All right, put Sim Earth on there. Put Sim Ant on that. I don't care. Put something.
No, and I played Sim Earth on a computer, actually.
All right. It's making the list. You want to look for the old style Maxis logo on your original copy of Sim Earth. But for Sim City, it's the Amiga version is really the one that you need because that is the first release. It released first on Amiga and Macintosh, but Macintosh in the 80s was black and white. So the only color version that originally released was the Amiga version. And then I think the Commodore 64 version 1.0 came out about a month later. So if you really don't want to track down an original Amiga version, you can get the 1.0 Commodore 64 version. But the early prints of SimCity, there's two box arts. One has a tornado, that's the later print. The early ones have Godzilla on it. And someone must have been like, dude, God, we can't be selling this with Godzilla on it. Like, I know he's in the game, but like, we're gonna get sued by Toho. What are we doing here?
If you don't have the Godzilla copy, what are you even doing?
It's true. So that's kind of my recommendation. You don't have to go crazy looking for like version 1.0 Amiga stuff, but like if you're gonna get a SimCity, go get a Godzilla copy of the game. Those are the cool copies of the game.
Yep.
All right, we're coming to the 90s computer games. You might have guessed that my list is computer heavy because I like computers. I don't like computers, but I do like old computer games, Johnny.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you right now, Bejeweled was cut from the list. It almost made the list, but we already have such good representation in the casual game genre. Based on entries number 43 and 44 on this list, Microsoft Windows 3.0 and Microsoft Entertainment Pack for Windows. Windows 3.0 is when they started bundling Solitaire with the operating system, and Entertainment Pack is Minesweeper. Pretty collectible games.
Pretty good.
You can go on eBay right now, and for less than $200, you can go get a sealed copy of Microsoft Windows 3.0. And you would have a sealed copy of the original Solitaire. And you're going to tell me that's not worth it, guys?
Yes.
I feel like this is another generational thing. Like, do you think like people in their 20s and younger, like, do they even know what Solitaire is? Like, they don't even use computers. They use phones.
Man, I played so much Solitaire on my phone.
My grandma, when she retired, like, I think 50% of her day was playing Solitaire.
I'm playing Solitaire right now.
Fucking,
I'm just kidding, I'm not.
Stefan developed his own Solitaire game for iOS.
Yeah. And neither of us bought it.
How would I buy it? I can get it for free on Windows. Not anymore. Like in like Windows Vista or something. Like they like started like doing like an online subscription bullshit because Microsoft's an evil company. And then did they take Solitaire out? Is there still Solitaire on Windows?
Is there? I don't know.
I assume you're on a Windows computer.
I'm like, I guess I could look right now.
Let's search for Solitaire. Let's see. This is a piece of history. If it's still here, this is like it's been ongoing for 35 years.
So there is an app called Solitaire and Casual Games, but I don't know if that's installed. Let's see. I'm clicking it. Yeah. Okay. Should I play the Mahjong version of Solitaire? Classic Solitaire. That's Klondike. Spider, Free Cell, Pyramid, Tri-Peaks.
All right. So this game has legs. Solitaire has legs, guys.
Still here. Oh my God. When you click on it, it's show me how to play is the first thing that prompts you. Oh my God.
You know what I did back when I was 7 years old? I just clicked the cards and I figured it out, Johnny.
Yeah, me too. Actually, that's not true. Because my grandma and my aunt used to sit there and play Solitaire at the kitchen table. And I watched, and they told me what was happening. I was very young when I saw this happen for the first time.
Johnny, I had a special interest weekend where I went deep into the history of Solitaire, and I learned about a lot of different Solitaire variants. And in the UK, they're called patience games, essentially because they're just a waste of time and a way to like while away your life.
Yeah. And tic-tac-toe over there is noughts and crosses. They got their own names.
Drafts. Is that how you pronounce it? Checkers? I don't know.
Oh. I don't know.
Number 45, you're going to agree with me on this one, Johnny. It's The Secret of Monkey Island for the IBM personal computer.
That is a good one.
which is probably not my favorite adventure game, but it is kind of a game that everyone
No.
agrees on. It's definitely the most collectible adventure game of the 90s, I would say. Like, it's more collectible than like Grim Fandango. My favorite adventure game as a kid was a game from South Peak Interactive called Dark Side of the Moon. It was an FMV, like moon colony type game. But I don't think anyone on planet Earth has ever played that, and I don't think it's very collectible. So I'm just going to go with Secret of Monkey Island. I'm going to keep it a safe pick here.
Okay. Could have went with Maniac Mansion, Scum System, and all that.
I don't like. You're right. There is a historical reason to pick Maniac Mansion. So I'm basically going with the best remembered game rather than the one that started it, and that's not usually what I do. Oh man, are you going to convince me to change this to Maniac Mansion? You're not.
It should be Maniac Mansion.
Because I like
100%.
Secret of Monkey Island a lot more than Maniac Mansion. You can lose Maniac Mansion, right? So there is some historical relevance to Monkey Island because a big part of the gameplay philosophy was that you can't lose, and he just like Ron Gilbert and Tim Schafer, they were like, yeah, we don't like Sierra games where you can lose. We just want you to be able to explore and figure stuff out. Number 46, Johnny. We're almost halfway through just my list, by the way.
This will be 2 episodes.
Sid Meier's Civilization, 1991, the original PC release.
Okay.
I'm a Civilization 4 kind of guy. I think for collectability, I think you would pick Civ 1 for the 4X genre. I wanted to spread out. I basically wanted to get like the most collectible game from each genre that I thought, and there's only one game for 4X, and that would be Civ. I also considered the first commercial port of Empire, which is another like mainframe game, strategy type war game, kind of like early history of 4X. But I thought that would be a little bit too much of a hipster pick, and I would get canceled.
Maybe.
Number 47, contender for the most important game on this list, Johnny. Ultima Underworld from 1992. The Stygian Abyss.
Love it.
Do you love it? Are you lying to me?
do. No, I like it.
I was thinking about playing Ultima Underworld again on the PlayStation. There's a Japanese PlayStation version, and I'm hoping there's a translated version of it, because the only part of Ultima Underworld that sucks is that it basically takes place on like a window of your screen. You only get like half the screen dedicated to the actual video game. And because it is the first person RPG, the controls suck a little bit. So
a little, yes, a little bit.
Why would that not have come out in America on PlayStation?
Can't imagine.
Anyway, it's the most ahead of its time video game of all time. It's a first-person RPG in a simulated dungeon that came out before even Wolfenstein 3D. And it invented the immersive sim genre and just first-person RPGs in general, which is an incredibly popular genre these days. Number 48, Johnny, it's Myst, the best-selling video game of all time, according to many blurbs on many computers.
I didn't put Myst on my list. That might have been a miss.
Really?
Yeah. I have nostalgia for Myst. I have nostalgia for it. It's like one of the first computer games ever, really. And I played with a friend, and it was just a nice experience. I remember it very fondly.
Yeah, I do too. I never fully clicked with Myst. I think I played the first 3 games, and Riven, I think, is the game out of those 3. And all of them have just like the most amazing vibes and the most amazing sounds. All the sound design and all the Myst games is so good. They're like little, I don't know, maybe I'm just too stupid for the puzzles.
Maybe.
Not in 3. Myst 3 is easy. If you guys want an easy Myst, go play Myst 3. Number 49, indie gem called Doom. I think you should own a copy of Doom. Is Doom the most collectible game of all time?
No.
Let's see.
No.
So
Mario Brothers?
No notes. So no caveats, no asterisks. So Super Mario Brothers. You can't. It originally came out on the Famicom, and then it came out in America, And even the matte sticker sealed ones in America, those aren't seen as the top ones. It's the fucking gloss sticker ones, because you can get those sealed, and those came out a year later. I just think that in Super Mario Brothers, the thing people want is like too many levels removed from what the perfect thing would be. But with Doom, not only is it one of the most important games of all time, but the original copy was mail order only, which is exciting. I don't know. I think there's nothing wrong with Doom. Everything about that, like the box art's fucking awesome. Everything about Doom is the coolest. And there's a bunch of variants. You can go get the version 1.1 5.25-inch floppy. And 1.1 is kind of rare, but then the 5.25-inch floppy is like, who the fuck still was ordering 5.25-inch floppies to play Doom?
You were.
I wish. I still need my 5.25-inch floppies to Doom. Sometimes they come up, but like a lot of times they're version 1.2, and it's like, well, I'm not here just to get a rare version. Like the CD version, the version 1.9 CD is also very rare. But like I want the version 1.1, which is the first release. Number 50, Johnny, halfway through the list. Thanks for sticking with me here. It's Quake. The game it's the coolest video game of all time. Industrial, medieval, gothic, Lovecraftian, cosmic fantasy. Everyone should agree that Quake is the coolest game of all time. And the movement in Quake, unlike any video game. I mean, it was coming off Doom, obviously, but basically the glitches in how you can move in Quake to move very fast is very cool.
Quake is interesting. You can only have one, Quake or Doom.
Oh, Doom, easily. Nothing beats Doom.
Okay. All right.
Not only Doom being like one of the most influential games of all time, not the first FPS, but the most influential FPS in a genre that became the most important genre for 2 decades. But it still has like a big speedrunning scene. There's an unlimited amount of content for Doom because there were so many WODs created. There's even like major WODs like My House, which is a WOD that had like a bunch of cultural impact just a couple years ago. And it's an ongoing franchise. People still play like the new medieval fucking Doom and shit like that. Fucking Quake sucks now. Quake became like a generic Space Marine game. What was the last Quake game? Quake 4? Like, they've had some of these like Quake 3 revival things like Quake Live and shit. Fuck Quake. No one cares about Quake as a franchise, but Quake 1 and a little bit Quake 3. All right, the first release of Quake, you're looking for full registered version on the bottom left of the box, and it came with a jewel case on the inside, not a digipack, which is pretty rare to find one of the jewel case copies. Also, I didn't say some of these other first prints. Mist first print is the Macintosh version that has a film strip sticker in the top left. And Secret of Monkey Island has a beige box on the bottom left of the box that says IBM 16 color.
And you want the good ones. Don't get the bad ones if you can.
I mean, these are the top 100, so you have to get the good ones.
Yeah.
But Johnny, number 51, Tomb Raider. I'm going to make an exception to my rule where I want the early releases.
You're not buying the Saturn one?
I'm not buying the European Sega Saturn release of Tomb Raider, which had like a 2-week window where it was technically the first version to be released.
You're a poser.
I own it, and I own it. Comes like these stupid Sega Saturn cases from Europe. They're like the shitty cardboard long boxes. It feels like shit. I hate it so much. So I would get the Trapezoid box PC version. I'll be fine if you're getting the PlayStation version. I think you're a little weird if you're getting the Sega Saturn version, because like who the fuck played Tomb Raider on Saturn compared to PC and PlayStation? But all right, I guess.
Tomb Raider is a PlayStation game. I feel like you should own it on the PlayStation.
All 3 versions were developed simultaneously from what I remember looking it up last time. So I don't think there is a wrong version to buy except for the European Sega Saturn.
I do. I think you should buy the PlayStation one because mentally when people think of Tomb Raider, they associate it with PlayStation. They're not like, well, there was actually a PC game as well and a Sega Saturn. Like, no one cares about that. It's a PlayStation game.
It's a PC game. Came in one of those big IDOS boxes. Super cool. I played that game with a keyboard. To be clear, I don't think the original Tomb Raider even supports a mouse. I was using like arrow keys and the control button to shoot. That is how you play Tomb Raider, which I guess is similar. Did it even support analog sticks on PlayStation? Or was that a Tomb Raider 2 innovation?
No, well, didn't that happen? That happened around Resident Evil.
But even then, the original Resident Evil didn't support analog.
Yeah, it would not until later prints.
Yeah. Number 52, Gianni. Grand Theft Auto. Now, if you were buying Grand Theft Auto, which version would you buy?
Oh, I would definitely buy the PC copy.
Which one?
I forget the distinction on the box, but there's a distinction.
I would get the UK Collector's Edition because it's a British game, and there is a first print of the British version, but then there's also the Collector's Edition, which I assume came out at launch. I'm just going to get the Collector's Edition. It comes in like a desaturated box, and the logo's in gold. I think it just looks cool. And it's the same size as the regular copy. It's not some stupid big box.
If you say so.
For the US version, if you really want to get the US PC version, there's the ASC Games release, which is basically the picture of the car on the front, and there's yellow text that says original and uncensored. You want to make sure that that text isn't there. And I think there's one on eBay right now. There's like a VGA graded US version of Grand Theft Auto, an actual first print, which is pretty rare. And it was like $2,000. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is some pretty serious shit here. And it was VGA qualified. So it was complete in box for $2,000.
Yuck.
I would say don't buy that. Johnny, this is a game you've heard of. Number 53, Diablo?
Oh, I have heard of Diablo.
Yeah, and I would get that just because Diablo 4 is just, I play that all the time. And I mean, Diablo sucks, but Diablo 4, yeah, really important game.
Okay.
Get the version, the PC version that doesn't have a Game of the Year Starflash on the box.
Yeah. It's funny that you mock me, but and man, I know it just hurts your heart because I play that game with a friend and you don't get to play video games with friends.
And I don't have friends, Johnny.
I'm your friend and you won't play Diablo with me, so.
Ada's been looking to pick up a new game. If you have a game that we could all play together, if we can't figure something out, we're just getting a Switch 2 in Pocopia.
Okay, well, my wife is all over that. So, she's immediately got a friend there.
She said she's willing to try Minecraft again. She's on some new medication that might not cause motion sickness.
Oh.
I'm excited about that. Minecraft coming up on this list soon, Johnny.
Yeah, can't wait to talk about that gift card.
Number 54, Half-Life for the personal computer. Some might say it's an important video game because people see video games as a narrative medium incorrectly. But if you are looking at video games as a narrative medium, Half-Life is one of the greatest ones to ever do it because it told a story with no cutscenes and no text boxes. It showed that video games can tell a story through the medium of video games and not stupid-ass Final Fantasy text boxes. And we got it perfect in 1998. We did it this one time, and it was a masterpiece. And then we all forgot about that, and now games are fucking boring and full of cutscenes and too much story still, and we've forgotten.
I don't know. Super Metroid had a story.
Super Metroid's a good one.
Yeah.
Good job,
so,
Super Metroid.
What? Well, let's pose this question to the audience, and do you think video games were better when they were more skill-based or narrative-based?
I know you're not posing the question to me.
I'm asking. You get to answer, but I'm posing it to. I want people to think about that. Do you think video games were better when it was all skill, or when it hit the point where they decided to be narrative based? Have we gone too far on the scale? What's your answer, Tyler? Tell the people. We already know, but you might as well make it official.
Video games are a bad way to tell a story. I think when you're comparing a video game to something like a movie or a book, like if you're just trying to tell a traditional story through a video game, not if you're off doing what's the game with the fish factory?
The Fish
What
Factory?
Remains of Edith Finch. If you're doing something like
Oh,
a little bit interesting like that, I think there is a case to be made that video games can do something interesting that other mediums can't do, like What Remains of Edith Finch. But if you're just saying like this fantasy story that's told in like The Witcher 3 or something is as good as the Lord of the Rings books, it's not. Because video games, you can't pace video games. The player has control of the pace, which fucks it up. Because I'm someone who wants to go into every box and find every little piece of trash to put in my inventory, and that fucks up the pace of a story. And if I'm reading a book or I'm watching a movie, the creator of that media has complete control over what I'm experiencing. And that's not the case with video games. And also, if you
but
take any piece of dialogue out of any video game and compare it to any fucking like popular book, they are incomparable. The writing in video games is so fucking stupid compared to actual literature.
yes, but having a playground in which you help create the story is unique to video games. And when they've tried that in movies and that's been a disaster.
I like emergent storytelling, but I think that's a very different thing than like literature or movies. Like a classic example is Lord British in Ultima Online was giving a speech, and a player came up and killed him, and that obviously wasn't supposed to happen, and that should have became like the story of Ultima Online. Is that literally in this game a canon event happened? Someone came and killed Lord British, and the problem is they fucked it up. They rolled it back. Like that could have been an iconic moment that's part of Ultima history, and they're like, you're not allowed to tell your own stories in our fucking video game. So that was super lame. But that is the kind of thing that I think games can do that, obviously other media can't do.
Well, in some games, people create their whole stories within the worlds and then use the game to tell stories outside of video games. Not that I think a lot of these are art pieces or anything, but you see lots of Minecraft, like kids making little Minecraft movies.
You sure do. I'm sure you see a lot more of it on your
I
son's
sure do,
iPad.
and it is fucking garbage. But it is interesting that it happens.
I'm sorry, as a big video game fan, I'm sorry I am the biggest video games are a terrible storytelling medium stick in
I
the
think
mud or whatever I am.
I think it's perfectly fine to have that opinion. I don't think that's a wrong or bad opinion.
I mean, all my opinions are correct and right.
Okay.
All right. If we're getting back to this list, Johnny, what are we at? 2 hours in this episode?
Yeah. Yep. Keep
Number
going. We're at,
55,
hour and
Johnny
47.
StarCraft Collector's Edition.
Okay.
There are two RTSs that matter in the world, and they are StarCraft and StarCraft 2. And I guess Age of Empires 2, but I cut that one. I could go back to Dune 2 or Urza Zwei, but let's be real, StarCraft. I'll get the Terran Collector's Edition because Terran is OP, as all the true StarCraft OGs know. Number 56, Star Siege Tribes. Kind of one of these games I don't understand why people don't put respect on its name. Star Siege Tribes
understand?
Was a multiplayer game, 1998, so same era as Quake and Unreal Tournament. It was based around both huge open outdoor areas and detailed indoor areas, which is something other FPSs were not doing at the time. Like Delta Force had big outdoor areas, but this is nothing like Delta Force. And you had a jetpack. It was so freaking cool. And the movement, the floaty movement in Tribes, you could kind of draw a line through movement in video games. Like you see it in Rocket League, you see it in Fortnite. Like this kind of floaty jetpack stuff was being done in the 90s before it was done in the 2010s. And also, as a personal thing for me, there was a mod called Tribes RPG, which was sort of a MMORPG that was just made by some guys. That was a mod for Tribes, and I couldn't afford EverQuest or Ultima Online because I was just a teenager. So I played this, and my online handle default gen comes from my Tribes RPG characters, Default and Genesis. That's the The origin of my name back in the 90s.
Ooh, got some, as the kids say, we got some lore happening.
Got some default gen lore. It was because it was a very poorly designed game, and it was very easy to fuck your character up forever. Like if you put skill points in useless skills, you would just be like, I need to start the game over. So I had like 20 different characters, and then default and Genesis were just one on top of each other in my character list alphabetically, and that just became my name. Unreal, Johnny, number 58 is Unreal. You're not going to believe it, actually. It's Unreal.
I can't believe it.
Johnny, the Unreal Engine is one of the biggest engines in video games. So it's an industry pick.
Super
it's not
important.
even an FPS pick.
No, it's because it's important. It did all the things. It enabled so much.
It is important. Obviously, Unreal Tournament is a better game than the original Unreal. But I'm just going to pick Unreal because the origin of the Unreal Engine. Why not? I like historical stuff. All right, we're getting into newer computer games. Number 58. God, this is a long list to have on an episode of Collector's Quest. The Sims.
Sure is.
The Sims, Johnny. I need a cozy, you know what The Sims is. Cozy life simulation. The original release is the big box PC with no game of the year or like number one bestseller stickers.
Okay.
Number 59, Counter-Strike. All right, this one I would not put on my personal list, I don't think, but it's making the list because I think it is going to become one of the most collectible PC games for a couple of reasons. One, Counter-Strike 2 is like the most played game on Steam, bar none. It's like number one on the charts constantly, which is weird because I don't know anyone who plays it, but apparently everybody plays it. It's probably kids because it's free and it's like Fortnite or whatever. The reason I don't understand it though is that I played Counter-Strike as a kid for free because Counter-Strike was a Half-Life mod. So I don't even know what this retail version of Counter-Strike is. Is this just Counter-Strike 1.6, but you don't have to own Half-Life to play it?
I don't know.
I feel like I should know it, but just because of the name, because Counter-Strike's such a big name, I think like in the sealed PC market is going to, as people like trying to hype up certain sealed PC games, I think this is going to be one of the ones that gets hyped. It has already sold for thousands of dollars. Number 60, Johnny, Deus Ex. Hey. Immersive Sims. Brigand Oaxaca. Ultima Underworld. No, Deus Ex. A game I thought was pronounced Deuce Ex as a kid. I think it's the best immersive sim to ever do it. And you know what? I love graphics from this era too. I think everything should be big and chunky and low detailed textures. I think games just look so good from this era.
That's why you love Minecraft.
Number 61, Diablo 2 Collector's Edition. Super limited. Only 70,000 copies ever made. They could have made that 66666. I don't know why they didn't do that. I guess there was some more money to be had, though. Yep. It's not super rare, but it is Diablo 2, which is the game I've probably spent the most hours of my life on besides RuneScape. And that this is actually, a lot of people don't know this, the prequel to Diablo 4, which is the best game.
You keep saying this like you're dunking on me somehow. I've never even said that Diablo 4 is, but you're making people think that this might be my opinion, which it is definitely not.
I like Diablo 4 too. I don't like the systems in the game, but the actual like moment to moment gameplay is so good.
Yeah, it's like I'm like I don't know what's happening here, but I want to make sure people don't buy into whatever your bullshit you're selling.
Number 62, Johnny, Call of Duty 1. My least favorite Call of Duty game I played is Big Red 1, the console exclusive. That game sucks.
That game does suck.
I kind of wanted to put Call of Duty 4 here, but I think Call of Duty 1 is obviously going to be the more collectible thing for being first, and it has the rare, true big box release exclusive to Sam's Club. So Call of Duty came out in 2003, and around this time, 2003, 2004, 2005, most retailers had stopped carrying big box PC games, but Sam's Club, because they have unlimited amounts of room, they still had special big box releases that were only at Sam's Club. And what these were a lot of the time, it was a big box of the game, and then you open up the big box, and it would just have the small box inside of it, which I love. I love it so much.
Love that.
Number 63, Johnny. It's an MMO. It could be Ultima Online or EverQuest, but again, I'm not going to be a hipster. I think EverQuest is a fine choice, but it's World of Warcraft Collector's Edition. Sort of a newer, I wouldn't call it a PC grail, but like a PC game that sells for hundreds and thousands of dollars.
I think you're wrong. You should have the pre-order edition here.
No, that's not even the game. That's just a book.
Definitely, you're pre-ordering it. You get the game too.
So Johnny's talking about the small box pre-order that comes with a WoW novel in it, and it's just like the reservation for getting the game, though.
Yeah, you did buy the game.
That's a pre-order bonus. I mean, I would consider putting a pre-order bonus on this list, but I don't think it beats out. If I can only own 100 video games, I'm going to own real WoW.
I'm just saying, if you bought the pre-order bonus, it comes with the game. So you would say, I put the pre-order bonus and got the collector's edition. There you go. Now you got both.
No, that's two things. That's two separate things.
That's one.
Takes up two slots.
One thing. That's one game. It's one game with all the accoutrements.
All right, fine. If you pre-order WoW and you got would you even get this for pre-ordering the collector's edition? I would assume you get the pre-order bonus from buying it at like Best Buy, and you'd have to get the collector's edition on like Blizzard.com or something.
Probably.
But I don't know. Number 64, Johnny, it's the orange box for PC, which is the first release of Portal and Team Fortress 2.
You mean for the 360?
It would be the orange box for the PC.
360.
Did these even, I guess, were we at the point where they were coming out at the same time? It was released by Valve. The version you want is obviously the PC
360.
version. Get out of here. They did come out on the same day. This was one of the few games.
360.
I remember staying up till midnight to play Portal because there's all this hype around Portal. And this was like Steam wasn't new, but it was like still kind of old and fucked up. And for whatever reason, maybe it was because I wasn't able to download it until midnight, but I had to wait until like 3 a.m. to play Portal, I remember. And then I was up until 6 and I had class the next day. So that was a memorable night for me.
I was playing this on my birthday.
Hell yeah. Now we know Johnny's birthday is October 10th, everybody.
It's the 11th, but
it's October 11th, everybody.
Yeah. Way to go. Nice save.
The Xbox One only comes in a green case, but the PC version has at least two major variants. There's one that comes in an actual orange plastic box and one that comes in a black plastic box. And I've never bothered to really look into which one came first, but the pre-release concept art for the orange box shows a black box. So I believe the black orange box is the original release of the orange box. Both of them are pretty cheap. You can just go get one sealed, I think.
Just get the one in the green box for the 360.
I've got that too. It's not making the top 100. That is in my one Billy bookcase, because my Billy bookcase that I have in my office here, it's a bunch of my NES complete and box games in the front, and then behind it is all my sealed modern DVD stuff, because I don't even look at that stuff. So if you take out a copy of The Magic of Scheherazade, there might be a sealed orange box behind there.
Excellent news. It's the correct edition to own.
Number 65, top 10 game of all time, Minecraft. There's a problem with this, because Minecraft is only a digital game on the personal computer, which is the real version of the game. So the first release of the game, like 2009 or 2008, was the alpha or beta of Minecraft. And I think it fully came out in like 2011. Followed by the first console port was Xbox 360, but then the mobile version was also very big. And the timeline of Minecraft stuff is crazy. How these different versions all split and then converged into two major versions. I think probably the most significant version of Minecraft at this point, it might be the mobile version, which is crazy. I remember when we were going to Midwest Gaming Classic, on 2 different flights, there were kids in front of me playing Minecraft on their iPad in 2026. Fucking no controller, no feedback. They were just raw dogging it on a touchscreen. And it looked as bad as I expected it to. It was taking them forever to do fucking anything. And they were just like, yeah, this fucking rules. I still love Minecraft.
You do love some Minecraft. And so does my boy. And I don't get it.
Cross
My wife also likes
generational.
Minecraft.
You're just too old, Johnny. I hate to, it's a common theme, but everyone from me and JD's generation, us
Yeah.
alphennials.
Okay.
So there's 2 things I think you could get. There's the 2011 first print of the Minecraft gift card that you would pick up at like Best Buy or whatever. And there's the PC Gamer beta demo disc, which I think is a little bit funny, but also I understand that every PC Gamer demo disc is worth like $1. No one cares about PC Gamer demos. And then the Minecraft issue, which is June 2011, it had a demo of the beta version of the game. And if you want physical media of the PC version of Minecraft, that's it. This is the only thing. It's the PC Gamer demo, and now it's like $500, sometimes even more. I love it. I still need one of those.
Super cool. You should get one.
Number 66, StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty. It's the best RTS that will ever exist, Johnny. Because no one plays RTS games anymore, because you can't really play them on a console. And all these like indie RTSs that comes out, like they never really make it big. So the only RTS that would ever come back and make it big is StarCraft 3. But the problem with that is that Activision Blizzard owns StarCraft, so they would certainly fuck everything up and I wouldn't want to play it. So that's it. StarCraft 2 is the best RTS that will ever exist. And the only esport I ever followed.
Okay.
Number 67, Portal 2. The PC DVD version. Or the Xbox version, I guess. But it's a Valve game. Come on, PC.
Yeah.
I don't even think this game is that significant. I just think it's such a common pick for the best game of all time that I think it belongs on a collectible games list.
I do. I agree. I love Portal 2. It's weird. I like Portal 2 more than Portal 1. And
Portal 1's overrated.
Would have ever thought that?
I think we both agree on
still.
that.
Yeah, it might be overrated, but man, Portal 2 is so good.
Portal 2 is really good. I'm the guy who likes short games, and even I'm like, whew, Portal is short, huh?
It is a thing you sit there. It was a thing after I beat it, my wife like saw the end and was like, "Hey, can you play that again?" I was like, "I can." This won't take that long.
All right. I'm done with PC games. We're on to Nintendo
finally.
games. We're finally back. Everyone, listen up. We're going to talk about games you care about again. We're not talking about Sid Meier's fucking Civilization. Super Mario Brothers for the Nintendo Famicom, Johnny, is number 68.
Okay.
It's the most influential game of all time. I think this is going to be on everybody's list. I think it's on your list. If you get Super Mario Brothers on the Famicom, you want no UPC on the back. You want the box to not have locking tabs. And it comes with an errata insert that says like, oh, on this page of the manual, we screwed up how many points you get for stomping a Goomba or something. It comes with like a little errata insert. That's the one. And I think that's like among there with the best things you could possibly own in video games. And if you like hunt for it, like you could probably get one for $100 or $200 or something. Number 69, Johnny. It's also Super Mario Brothers for the NES. And there are, out of 100 games, there are 3 games that made my list twice. It is Super Mario Brothers, The Legend of Zelda, and Nintendo World Championships. And this is the only game where both versions are just the regular ass retail copy of the game, because I don't want to choose between them. I think they're both super important. You should get the 1985 release, which comes with a matte sticker on the front. And in fact, there's a very specific copy because it just sold. It is the one that sold this year with an intact matte sticker because some psychopath opened the game from the bottom so he wouldn't have to break the sticker. That sold for around $80,000. And I think that's like top 10 thing you could possibly own in video games.
Okay, what do we got for the next one? You got 70?
Number 70, Metroid. Johnny, it's an important platform adventure game.
Okay.
And kind of a big deal for
I
early
prefer
female
Metroidvanias
protagonists.
myself.
Can you you shouldn't even call Metroid a Metroidvania. You should call it a Metroid game or like a Metroid like. It doesn't even have the Vania influence. You can't like level up. I mean, I guess you kind of can with energy tanks. I don't know. What does Metroidvania even mean? Why? What? How are we combining them? It's either just Castlevania Symphony of the Night like or Metroid like. Why are we got? It's a platform adventure.
Yes.
Mike Tyson's Punch Out. There's a few different versions that could contend. There's the gold cart on Famicom. There's actually a prize Punch Out cartridge. It's not too rare, but it is.
That's not a Mike Tyson's Punch Out. That's just Punch Out.
It's not a Mike Tyson's Punch Out. It's just kind of an interesting Famicom rarity. And the other one would be the 5-screw Mike Tyson's Punch Out, which has the orange bullets on the art. So it's not a first print. It's like something weird. It's like a repaired cartridge or like something weird happened in the factory type deal.
5-screw.
But I would just get the original US copy of Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Very boring. White bullets on the front of the box and the cartridge. And I think this edges out a lot of the NES games that didn't make the list. So like Contra, obviously a 10 out of 10 awesome NES game like Super C, games like that. Did not make my list because Mike Tyson is way more collectible because this is also a sports collectible. And for some fucking reason, this has sold for like $300,000 sealed.
Sure has.
And yeah, because this is my top 100 collection with no prices, like all these games are sealed. So I can do whatever I want. I'm getting NWC. We're getting that like in the original bubble mailer.
Okay.
Number 72, Mega Man. The most inexplicably expensive and collectible NES game. Because everybody agrees that it's like not the best in the franchise, and Mega Man's a B tier franchise. I'm just gonna say it.
God, yeah, I don't understand. Look, Mega Man haters come for us. We just don't get it.
But
Mega Man 1, not even the best Mega Man.
I'm the guy. I'm spending $100,000 on a sealed misprint Dr. White version of Mega Man. Even though I don't really like Mega Man.
Is it Dr. White or Dr. Wright?
Right. WRIGHT is the misprint. And I am counting. So I showed this list to Joe and I'm like, critique my list, bitch. And he's like, Mega Man sucks. You should get like the Mega Man 2 misprint. So not misprint, the variant. So Mega Man 2 and 3, the original versions have a little contest banner on them. And then very late prints of those games have no banner, which is...
Nope. Josh Byerly just sold the manual for the no banner, and it went for like $6 or something stupid.
$6? Dude, what not stresses me out? The fact that, oh man, you could just sell something so rare and weird like that for $6.
I was going to bid on that, and I don't know what I had to do. Something came up, and I was like, missed it. I would have paid $6.
Number 73, it's going to make Johnny's list. One of the few crossover games we have. Castlevania, Johnny.
Yeah,
from 1987. You heard of that one?
Yeah, make sure it's a hang tab, and you want the overlapping label.
Hang tab, and yes, overlapping label, meaning the end label on the cartridge. The Castlevania logo is too big, and it spills over to the front of the cartridge. It's a fun variant to look for. I see them all the time at like conventions, and I'm like, hey, that's a first print. But I don't really like need another copy of it. I just want to point it out to someone and be like, hey, go get that. That's a good deal. They didn't price that like it's interesting. Is Castlevania a significant game, Johnny? I mean, it's the first Castlevania game. It has to be significant. All right. Yeah. I was worried that Castlevania was not significant enough to make this list, but it's probably more significant than fucking Mega Man. What am I talking about? It led to Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
There's no Mega Man likes.
There are no... Well, there's one. There's Mighty Number 9.
No, but what I'm saying is that's not a genre name.
Yeah, Castlevania, technically the namesake of a genre, even though not for this game. Although Castlevania 2, it is kind of named after.
Yep.
Johnny, Hidden Gem, The Legend of Zelda for NES. I think it's the best sealed NES game that you can own. And You know, every time it comes up and it doesn't sell for like crazy money, because like, oh, too many sealed TM copies of The Legend of Zelda have come out, and like, oh wow, now there's like 10 of them or something. Like, every sealed first print of The Legend of Zelda is the best US version of Legend of Zelda, and every sealed fucking Super Mario Brothers is like this year late 1986 bullshit. So I'd have a sealed.
Zelda looks like a trophy. If you have a
It's
sealed
gold!
graded copy of Zelda, it looks like a fucking trophy. You should put it as such. I don't get it. You should have. Yeah, I don't know. There's like a couple sealed graded games I would own, and that would be one of them.
Oh, just a $300,000 copy of Legend of Zelda? Yeah, I agree. That I would own that one too.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, if I was like, okay, I need to own, like, again, if we're selling everything and we're putting our money into, like, one thing, it's like, I just, because I won collecting. Here it is. Here's my trophy.
So if you don't know what you're looking for a first print Legend of Zelda, the Nintendo Entertainment text on the bottom of the box should have a TM after it instead of an R.
The bottom of the front of the box.
And I'm going to say the second most important thing is that you need the fucking baggie. So the box on Legend of Zelda and Zelda 2 has a little window to basically show you that the cartridge is gold, to entice you like, come get this gold cartridge. This is so cool, isn't it? And to make it shine through better, they cut an 1.5-inch sized hole in the actual baggie that holds the cartridge so that it's not blocking the cartridge. And I learned something. I forgot who pointed this out. It might have been Nick, the VGDB, or someone. I don't think it was. Someone in the Discord pointed this out. The Zelda baggies don't have that little like punch hole in the center of the baggie, so they wouldn't be easy to fake. I mean, it's a baggie. It's probably somewhat easy to fake, but you can't just punch a hole in a regular baggie because the Zelda baggies don't have that tiny little hole, that like little 0.5 centimeter hole.
Interesting.
Pretty good collectible info right there. Not that anyone's faking Zelda baggies, but man, go get a baggie for your Zelda. It sucks. Everyone's missing that baggie.
Go spend $200. Buy a piece of plastic bag.
Oh man, I spent $300 on mine, Johnny. I bought a whole copy of Legend of Zelda just for the baggie.
Yes, you did. You are not alone.
Number 75, Johnny. We're 3/4 of the way through this list. Sounding like the best collection ever to me. I don't know about you. Tetris.
Okay, it's sounding like a collection. It's pretty good.
Tetris for the NES. How you feeling about that?
It represents the genre. It's a thing. I would prefer the Game Boy version because I feel like that's more important.
I think the Game Boy version is more historically important because it launched the Game Boy and like handheld gaming in general almost, but also like the reason Tetris is popular is because of the Game Boy version.
They're both important. It's not. I'm not downgrading Tetris on the NES because it's not important. But if I am only picking one.
So I'm picking on NES. I'm picking it because that's the competitive version of Tetris that people still play today in 2026. The classic Tetris World Championship still takes place on NES Tetris. I think the history of that is fascinating, like the new strategies that have emerged over the years and things like that. And like that kind of continued community support and things like speedrunning and competition, that means a lot to the like overall legacy of a game rather than like, oh, Ultima Underworld came out, it was really important, and then no one thinks about that after like 1996 anymore.
Yeah. No, I'm not disputing it full hard. Like, really, in an ideal world, maybe both get on there. Like, how do you determine this? Tetris launched the idea of like these little portable bite-sized games that you can play in a couple of minutes. It's not like it's hard and you're thinking about it. You know, it's like this in games like Solitary, like the idea of these mobile games and like what size and like what kind of content is ideal to capture most people. Without it, things like Bejeweled don't exist.
Yeah, and exactly. Because like, how long does a game of Tetris take to play? Like 5-10 minutes, depending on how much you suck.
Yeah.
And that's why, actually, we should be talking about the original PC Spectrum Holobyte release. And you're looking for a version that doesn't say 250,000 or more sold, and you want the original PC Tetris, because as we all know, Tetris originally a computer game, so you should have the first
what you're
PC
actually
release.
looking for is the Russian mainframe where it was originally stored.
So I've thought about that. I don't know if there's actually any. It's the Electronica 60. I don't know if there's any discs from that era, but the problem is, as far as I understand the history of Tetris, which is not very well, I have not read any Tetris books, and I know there are Tetris books, but that was like a game that was like copied and distributed like just around. So if you found a copy of Tetris for the Electronica 60, it's probably like a bootleg essentially. And is that cool? That's probably still pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Should we change it? Fuck the NES. We're getting the original Tetris. They made a movie about that. Was it a TV series? I don't know. What is that? Is that a movie, a TV series?
I think it was an Apple movie, right? I don't know.
Johnny, number 76. Do you think it should be Dragon Warrior or Final Fantasy?
It should be Final Fantasy.
It's both. It's just both. We're getting the history of JRPGs here. I didn't go back to Mugen no Shinzo 2, which is the prototype for what the console JRPG experience would be. That is a PC 88 game. I just posted one in the Discord. You guys should go buy it. But yeah, I think Dragon Quest on the Famicom clearly became what JRPGs are today, and then Final Fantasy totally ripped it off and became Final Fantasy. Both kind of individually huge games and franchises. I'm just picking both. I'm actually getting the NES version.
Dragon Warrior, then, not Dragon Quest. And the one you want for Dragon Warrior is probably the more important one, which was the one that was mailed out from Nintendo Power.
No, I still want the 1 HP. Thy HP has decreased by 1 on a screenshot of the back of the box. That's the first.
You don't want the star?
Stop it. Stop it. There's no fucking
stop bad information.
Star. Hello everybody listening to this podcast. There was a point in history, and that point was like 2020 or so, like probably before then on Nintendo Age 2, where people thought that this little star, if you open up the flap of certain NES games, there's a star on the inside flap. You'll see it on like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out has them. Dragon Warrior has them, and somebody at some point said, oh, the star means it's a promotional release, so the star copies were the ones sent out by Nintendo Power, and the star copies might have been the ones sent out by Nintendo Power, but that doesn't mean it's a fucking promotional release. That's not what the star means. I don't know what the star means, but I know it doesn't mean it's a promotional release. Why the fuck would they make a whole separate box for that?
It is. This is the definition of correlation is not causality.
Yes. My fun Dragon Warrior collection story, Johnny, is there was a sealed Dragon Warrior. It was like $450. It was like really cheap. I'm like, oh. And I look at the back and it's like, oh, it's the 1 HP variant. Hell yeah, I'm going to get a first print Dragon Warrior for $450. And I did not read the screenshot correctly, and now I have a sealed second print Dragon Warrior. So nice. I have the more historic one that was sent out by Nintendo Power, Johnny.
Good job. You've already done it.
Number 78, Super Mario Brothers 3. I don't know, Johnny. It's the greatest NES game of all time?
No.
No? It is considered by most people the greatest NES game of all time.
Okay.
You gotta kind of go with public perception determines collectability at some point.
Yeah. No, look, Super Mario 3 super collectible. Not wrong to be on a list.
What do you think is the greatest NES game of all time?
Final Fantasy. Or Zelda. Actually, it's like I go back and forth between that and Zelda.
I would say Ninja Gaiden 3, so I'm just wrong. I know. You want the left bros box, meaning that the bros in Super Mario Bros. Is on the left side of Mario instead of the right side. And
we are huge left bro shills. We've been out there spreading the left bro lore for many a year.
We have. We were definitely on left bros before it was cool and thousands of dollars. Actually, yeah. Super Mario 3, like left bros, like that's come down in price.
Way down. It's been coming down for years.
Like I think like people who invested in that thought that was like a blue chip thing, and now it's just like, yeah, well, it turns out only so many people collect fucking NES games, huh?
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm gonna go to Solds. I want to check in on the left bros market. Oh, damn. I just saw a graded one. PSA 8. Like, whatever. That's like a really nice copy. $400, which is probably really expensive because it's graded, and that's a buy it now, and no one's buying that. Rad.
Yeah.
No, I'm finding a better one. Here's a really nice Left Bros. It's got the baggie and everything. $150.
Easy. Good.
Go get a
good
Left
pickup.
Bros.
Good pickup.
What were we doing? We're Johnny, number 79. This better be on your list. Super Mario Kart for the Nintendo Super Nintendo.
It's not on my list.
This is like the most A-list game that has ever existed. This should be like the most collectible video game, and I don't understand why it isn't. It's like
Weird.
It's like Tetris, like the cross-generational appeal. It's like there's a whole certain kind of casual gamer who like only plays Mario Kart. You have the girls who are like, I bet I can beat you in Mario Kart. It is so ubiquitous. The number one selling game on the Wii, the Wii U, the 3DS, the Switch, number 2 on GameCube and N64. It's just the first Mario Kart. It's also the best Mario Kart, but that's just because it's the only one that requires skill. I said it.
So the problem with Super Mario Kart is it's kind of like the Mario Brothers before Super Mario Brothers. Like, people know it exists and like it, but it just the N64 version came out and people imprinted on that one more.
No, that's just some millennial bullshit. No, your son is not going to know the difference between Super Mario Kart and Mario Kart 64. He's just going to look it up on Wikipedia one day and be like, oh, I guess Super Mario Kart was first. Who the fuck cares about Mario Kart 64?
Look, you just said that perception kind of defines collectability, right? We're talking about that?
That's true. And all of us millennials who think that Mario Kart 64 is somehow the superior game, we will be dead one day. And when the list of Mario Kart games only exists on Moby Games and Wikipedia and no one's actually played them, Super Mario Kart will be the most collectible Mario Kart game.
Nope.
As it should be. The fucking sealed prices on Mario Kart 64 are disgusting. It's just a stupid nostalgic game. Super Mario Kart is so much better. And I don't mean as a game, I mean as a collectible.
Yeah. It's going to be Mario Kart 8 from the Nintendo store.
Stop. This stupid. Stop it. It's random, rare, limited bullshit.
Okay.
2022, a copy of Mario Kart 64 sold for $144,000. Hold on. We're going, and then in 2021 we had an $108,000 sale. In 2023 we had an $81,000 sale. In 2022 another $66,000 sale. Another 66. 2025 a 52,000 sale. 2022 48,000. I'm scrolling. It's all Mario Kart 64. The first Super Mario Kart in 2021, December 2021, which is like the absolute peak of the bubble. $26,400 is the most expensive copy of Super Mario Kart. That's just wrong. It's just wrong.
You heard it here, people. You're wrong. You made a mistake.
Go spend $20,000 on a copy of Super Mario Kart. It's gonna beat your Nvidia stock, guys. It's just too important of a video game.
Okay. This is not financial advice.
This is financial advice. This is probably not, because I don't know. There's something about it that people don't like it. I mean, people like it. So the thing is, people like it. It's just like always grouped in on like, oh, everyone owns these 20 Super Nintendo games. Like, oh, here's Star Fox and Yoshi's Island and Mario World and fucking Rock and Roll Race. I don't know. You know all the Super Nintendo games. Earthbound.
I do. Yeah. I know.
Number 80, Johnny. It's Super Mario World, which is a weird pick. I don't think from a historical standpoint it should make it onto my list. The reason it's here is because the boxed release of Super Mario World is uniquely rare among Nintendo games.
Got a good story.
It does have a good story. And the story is every single person who owned Super Mario World got it for free with their Super Nintendo, and you had to be some kind of weird psycho who bought the control deck. I'm sorry, we call them poor people. He bought the Control Deck, which was released in July of 1992, which was the Super Nintendo on its own without Super Mario World. And then you decided later to go buy Super Mario World. And even all the bundles, there were so many superset bundles released later in the Super Nintendo's life that still had Super Mario World packed in.
Now,
So
so what really happened is some mom and dad could only afford the control bundle, and they're like, okay, and grandma, he does want the Mario game, but that's, I guess you can buy that by itself. So grandma, you get him that for Christmas, and he'll get the control bundle from us, and he's going to be having a great Christmas.
I wonder how many people got Super Mario World and the Control Deck at the same time just so they could split up the gifts. That's an interesting thought. But basically, so I wouldn't call the boxed release of Super Mario World rare, but compared to every other major Nintendo release, it's got to be the rarest one. Like, there's no
Probably.
Metroid or Zelda game that has as few copies out there as complete Super Mario Worlds.
It's
And that's cool.
It is an interesting story. It does not show up as much as you would think. There are variants, so make sure you get the first print.
Yep.
You don't want that -1.
I mean, the first print of the came out a year after the game was launched print, but yeah.
Just get the boxed console with Super Mario World in it. Boom, you did it. First print.
Man, it was like 2021. Someone had it was an SNES Super Set, and it had one of those yellow stickers, like a warranty sticker with the handwritten date on it, and the date was like 3 days after the Super Nintendo launched. So that was a first print Super Mario World, but it was 2021, so the prices were just ridiculous, so I couldn't buy it.
Sad.
You know what I think the closest analog to the complete in box Super Mario World is the standalone release of Wii Sports. Who the fuck bought Wii Sports? You're telling me you got a Wii and it didn't come with Wii Sports?
Well, wasn't that a Europe only thing?
So the white label release, I think it was like a UAE. There's like a UAE version, but there's a Nintendo Selects Wii Sports did come out in America. Because like people who bought like that weird red Wii didn't get Wii Sports.
Yeah. So weird.
Number 81, Johnny, the number one game from the Collector's Quest game draft of like, I don't know, 2004, whenever we did that.
Super Metroid.
Super Metroid. A game I think of maybe dubious historical significance compared to a lot of the stuff on this list, but also it's Super Metroid, so it's going to be on the list.
Yep.
Also, a game I think maybe similar to Super Mario Kart in that like high-end collectors who spend lots of money on stuff do not care about Super Metroid.
They should.
I mean, it doesn't have as much as Super Mario Kart going for it because it's just a super good game. But number 82, Johnny, it's Earthbound. And it's not because I'm an Earthbound guy. It's just because to be a video game collector with a video game collection, I want to have Earthbound.
You got to have that on your shelf, or people will ask, you got Earthbound? And you don't want to have to say no.
I don't have room for Cubivore. I don't have room for Rule of Rose, but I got room for Earthbound in this collection.
Yeah.
Number 83, Chrono Trigger for the Super Famicom, the V-Jump edition that was limited to 2,000 copies given away by V-Jump magazine. I think this is, again, I mean, maybe this isn't super underrated because I think this is a couple $1,000 or it's at least $1,000. But, I mean, Chrono Trigger itself is $1,000. So, you know what, maybe this is underrated because this is the rare version of a game that's already very expensive.
It's true.
Anyway, this is obviously a Japanese only release, and it comes in a sort of bronze box. Very rare, not very rare. 2,000 copies isn't very rare, but very cool considering Chrono Trigger is like another one of these games like Portal 2 where like it always comes up as like, oh, it's the best game of all time type thing. But I think its praise is deserved. Chrono Trigger is an excellent game. Number 84, Johnny, there has to be one on the list. It's Pokemon Red. And I was going to cop out and just say all 4 Gen 1 Pokemon games, but no, fuck it. I'm just going to say Pokemon Red, and I don't even think Charizard's cool.
Not
Red, because Charizard's the most collectible Pokemon. And I don't know why, but that is just, I need to have the best thing.
Yeah, but your brain is so broken. It should definitely be blue with
Oh no, I'm getting the
misprint.
Japanese one.
Okay.
So the Japanese, the Gen 1 thing, they obviously came out red and green
Okay.
first. Then blue is the updated version, has some gameplay changes. That was released through Koro Koro magazine. The original copies of blue don't have a UPC. That was so popular, it did get a retail re-release that does have a UPC on the back. And then Pokemon Yellow came out later. Who cares? Fucking Pokemon Yellow. But the red and green, the earlier prints have a bigger UPC on the back of the box. And so a thing that a lot of like the speculators are looking for are truly new in box copies of the early prints of red and green, which are very rare. I don't know how many are out there, but it is not many. But I'm not wasting more than one slot on freaking Pokemon. So Japanese red.
Okay.
Even though, I mean, I know I've hyped it up like, yeah, misprint blue. If maybe if this list was expanded to 200, misprint blue would also make it on the list. Johnny, number 85 is Super Mario 64, a video game that's worth $1.56 million.
Wow.
And my favorite game of all time.
You've got a sealed copy of the first print.
I don't know that because I don't know any variants of Super Mario 64.
You have, that's why we know you have a sealed copy of the first print. Remember, rules of video game collecting, if you can't prove it wrong, you definitely have a first print, and that's what you say.
Guys, I have a sealed copy of the first print of Super Mario 64. I bought the first copy ever sold on Heritage Auctions. It was a very stressful thing, hitting that bid button. Probably like one of the most expensive copies of Super Mario 64 that ever sold. And I'm like hitting that bid button. Johnny, I bid all the way up to like $700 plus buyer's premium.
Wow.
Yeah, video game prices, they hit differently before 2020. I can't wait to get to your list, Johnny.
Oh, my list is the next episode.
No, this episode we've
no.
We haven't recorded for so long.
I know. That's why we're going to release this episode, and then we'll release mine after.
Number 86, GoldenEye 007 for the N64. How do you feel about that?
I think it is emblematic of a generation and a place and time in video games, and it's historically significant. Doesn't matter if it's not the actual first FPS or anything. It is a thing that people culturally associate with it and identify with and, yearn for. So, yeah, I'm good with it.
FPSs on consoles sucked until GoldenEye and Halo, and then they continued to suck because you didn't have a mouse. But I think those are two very important games. I still yearn for level-based games with objectives. I think games with individual levels that are good enough to replay over and over again are more fun than like a streamlined like narrative that just you go through once and then forget about it. Because I just remember playing individual levels in GoldenEye over and over again.
Dude, coming out of the grate in the bathroom and just shooting that guy and dropping in, so cool.
Pretty cool.
What a good beginning.
Man, and he makes you feel like a secret agent, and like one of the movie games that follows the story of the movie like frame for frame. It is so accurate, it's weird.
Yeah. No, GoldenEye, real good. Really enjoyed it. I didn't even play multiplayer much. I was terrible at it. But yeah, I really enjoyed the game when I was playing it.
I played a lot of multiplayer too. Best 9 frames a second of my young life. Number 87, Johnny, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I'm 37 years old, and all of us would put this on the list because it's the best game of all time. Let me actually talk to my people here, Johnny. And I know you don't think it's the best game of all time, but I know there's these people that are in their 30s, and they still think it is. Guys, this game came out in 1998. It was a groundbreaking action-adventure game. It's an excellent game. Better video games have come out since The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, and I need you to know that.
Better Zelda games have come out.
Freaking Breath of the Wild might be better than Ocarina of Time. Freaking Twilight Princess might be better than Ocarina of Time.
Twilight Princess is such a criminally underrated Zelda.
Guys, I just think you might need to reconsider if you still think that 30 years later this is the best game. This is the best video games we'll ever get. Because you know what?
But I got this flute and I blow into it and a opponent comes.
Man, you
Okay.
just go play through Ocarina of Time again and like write down every time you solve a puzzle and like write down how many of those puzzles were like, I shot an arrow at the eye. I shot an arrow at the crystal. I'm just saying.
Oh,
We've had a lot of
all right.
advances in game design. We got some pretty cool video games.
But have you seen the Great Duca tree? It's so cool. Oh, okay.
It was pretty cool. He died. It was very sad. I cried. I didn't cry, but I did cry at the end because he came back to Zelda as a kid. It was so cool. Number 88, Johnny. I don't know how you're going to feel about this. Super Smash Brothers for the Nintendo 64.
Ew.
I just,
That is
it feels like the
objectively
worst
the
pick on
wrong
the entire
Smash.
list.
That is, look, again, sometimes the game is first, but it's not more important. That is the wrong Smash Brothers to put on your list.
No, I know Melee is more important.
Melee is more important.
So the community, I believe, would be split these days between Melee and Ultimate. And so there's an easy way out of that, and it's just to pick the first one.
Pick the first one. And that's fine. I get that logic, but man, yeah.
I know
it's not the
I know I want Melee on it personally, but it comes in a cardboard box. This is my most likely to regret pick.
It's just not. It just isn't it. It isn't it. When I think about it, it doesn't. Whatever that little part of my brain where it's supposed to touch and go, this is the one, doesn't do it.
I'm thinking about like taking this out and putting in like Braid because Braid didn't make my list. There are game I didn't put Pitfall on my list. There are things I could slot in here.
You didn't put Pitfall 2 on your list?
Damn, dude.
You're a madman.
We don't need any more platformers. I've already got Super Mario Maker 2.
Okay.
The genre is done.
Got it.
Number 89, Debutsu no Mori for the N64, the original version of Animal Crossing. And you know what? I probably could take the GameCube version, but I just went to the original because why not?
Yeah, again, I think maybe the GameCube version is more important here.
How could they? Why the game? So if you look at the history of Animal Crossing re-releases, they released this game like 4 times in a very short period of time. It was like the original release, and then they had an upgraded release, and then it came out in America, and then it got ported back to Japan with the upgrades from the American release. And so because of that, I just want the first.
Where's your Harvest Moon?
What's up?
You don't even have a Harvest Moon on here. Gosh.
I know. No, that's another problem. Like Harvest Moon, the only Harvest Moon game I really care about is Harvest Moon 64. And I don't think that's going to make the list. And I don't even think that Harvest Moon 1 would make the list. But yeah, but this is the same cozy kind of social simulation game. It's not a farming sim, but it's in the same universe. And I've already got the Sims on here too. I mean, we're getting that's a lot of representation.
Harvest Moon for the Super Nintendo was out before this game.
It sure was. And something was probably before Harvest Moon in farming simulation. Maybe not. What was there any boring farming sim before Harvest Moon?
I don't know. Harvest Moon got a cool box in Europe.
Got a cool box in America. I still think about there was a really nice copy a couple years ago at Midwest Gaming Classic, and it sold immediately once the doors open. I should have got it. Johnny, Animal Crossing is really good. I like the game. I played a lot of the GameCube one. I played the DS one, and then I played again a lot of the Switch one, like everybody, and just felt like I didn't want to have to choose. And I feel like going back to the N64 is great because not only do I not have to choose, but I haven't actually played this one. I don't know. It's just like I'm not choosing a favorite because I never actually played this version of Animal Crossing.
Okay.
Number 90, E.T. the Extraterrestrial for the Atari 2600. That's right. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas isn't on this list, but E.T. is also A Link to the Past isn't on this list.
You are criminally insane.
E.T. I specifically want one dug up from the Alamogordo landfill. I'm not a Western. You could probably pronounce
Alamogordo landfill.
I want that one. So a lot of those games. So there were a lot of games dug up in that landfill dig from a few years ago, a bunch of years ago at this point. But a lot of them are like stupid bullshit, like Defender. I'm sorry. I think Stefan might actually have a Defender from the landfill. But there
Oh, I
were a
mean,
few.
you don't like Defender. You didn't put it on your list at all.
Yeah, but I don't want a Defender that someone threw away. I mean, the reason you want ET is because it represents the video game crash. It did not cause the video game crash, but people act like it did, so it became the symbol of the video game crash. So having one that was literally dug up from a landfill, clear highlight in my collection.
Yep.
Actually, I'm gonna look for that. I bet there's one on eBay for like an absolutely outrageous price.
Defender $900. Centipede $650.
Oh, you can get like card only landfill things with the certificate of authenticity for like $200. I didn't know that. But there were new in box stuff dug up from the landfill. Oh yeah, here's a Defender, $600. That's not that bad.
Yeah.
But are there any ETs?
Vanguard is another one you can get.
Fucking Van. Yeah, see, like I just want ET. There's all these other games.
ET $4,500.
That's a piece of history right there, guys. No, it's just the cartridge though. I want a new in box copy.
Yeah, here's a pillow cover of it. So there's someone has made a throw pillow cover to make it look like a trash version of the landfill copy that you can buy for $40. Do you guys want that?
That's a very strange thing. What? That's like how you like search for stadium events, and there was a long time where someone had like a
Magnets.
keychain that said like I searched for stadium events, and all I found was this keychain on eBay.
Yeah, don't buy the pillowcase. All right, so stupid.
Johnny, number 91. This felt like an obligation. Sega Genesis, Sonic the Hedgehog 1.
Oh, interesting. Tyler,
What's up?
you don't like Sonic.
You know what I do like? I like Sonic 2. I like Sonic 3 and Knuckles a lot. I like Sonic CD a lot. I like Sonic Mania a lot. I don't like Sonic the Hedgehog at all. But
Yeah, I know.
he's the mascot of an entire major company. I feel like I have to have Sonic 1 in my collection. It's an obligation.
I want to just, before we go too far, I just want to list a few more games you can get from the Alamogordo dump. Air Sea Battle, Berserk, Vanguard, as we said, Super Breakout, Warlords, and Phoenix. Those are also games you can get. There's a lot of
Dump
different
copies of
games you can
Super Breakout. That game rules.
get. So, anyways,
All right.
you can collect them all. You should have the trash collection.
The trash set. Just make my whole list of 100 games, just like all the different games you can get from the landfill. I'd be the only one who has the full set. Because who has ever collected that set, Johnny?
Yeah, look, if you do that, I will give you a special Discord icon that is a wastebasket.
Thank you.
They gotta have COAs.
The first US print of Sonic 1 has printed in Japan on the back. And I think people have argued whether printed or made in Japan is the actual first print. But friend of the show, Andrew, has a copy with a receipt, and it's like 1 or 2 days after the Wikipedia release date of Sonic the Hedgehog. And to be clear, in the early 90s and before, release dates were very not set in stone. It wasn't like, oh, this date, all the stores are going to have the video game. It was more just like, yeah, we shipped them and they're going to put them out when they put them out. But his very close to release date, Sonic, says printed in Japan. So I believe that is the first print. Number 92, Johnny, is Mortal Kombat for the Sega Genesis, not part of my arcade.
Seems like a mistake, but I know why you have it on here.
It's because it's one of the only games that has ever been into the United States Congress. It is purely here as for the controversy that it caused, and I believe the Sega Genesis version is more representative of the controversy of Mortal Kombat than the arcade version. I mean, both of them are, but they literally brought the Genesis version to Congress.
You think that this is more representative than Night Trap?
Mortal Kombat matters in more ways than Night Trap does.
Not for what you're talking about.
Okay, how about this? So Mortal Kombat is a genuinely violent and concerning game that I don't think that hysteria over video game violence is justified, but if you were going to justify it, having a game where people rip people's heads off matters a lot more than Night Trap, a game with basically no objectionable content whatsoever.
Tyler condones rape.
Oh, there's no rape in Night Trap.
Heard it here first. Tyler hates women and is okay with the violence that happens to them.
Can you believe that violence happens to women in Night Trap when you lose? I, for one, think that sexes are unequal and therefore the women should be immune from the violence in video games. What the fuck?
Okay, someone's taking the red pill.
Oh, man, I don't even really know what that means.
Is the red pill the right one? I don't know. I don't follow
right?
this stuff.
Yeah, like, okay, you don't know what it means either.
No.
You're just like, this is some misogynist shit. I know I'm saying something here.
Yeah. Did I make the right word sounds? Did I do it?
Oh.
Someone's offended. All right, let's move on.
Number 93,
I still think
Johnny,
Night Trap
Final
is
Fantasy
more important.
7.
Ooh, an interesting choice.
Really?
Yep.
I feel like most of this list is like the best video games of all time, and then also I'll throw in
Also,
Microsoft
my weird
Entertainment.
stuff. These ones are good, and also I got some stuff that's old.
You want the realistic violence listed in the ESRB details on the back for the first print. Which is weird because there's also the Masterpiece Misprint Edition, which you would think is the first print, but isn't the first print.
And there's the double Sephiroth inners. There's so many variants.
Screwed them up. It's almost like they printed millions and millions of copies of this game because it was very popular.
One of the first video games of the modern era, more modern, the mid-era, to ever crash. Final Fantasy was a $100 game and then dropped to the 30s.
Oh, I thought you meant like it crashed your
nowhere.
PlayStation. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
No. Like as a collector's crash in the mid 2000s. Just
yeah, very
2010
strange.
came along and the bottom fell out of Final Fantasy 7.
So when I was reselling games in high school, like obviously Final Fantasy 7 is one like I always knew to look out for. Like, oh, it's always worth money, and yeah, I mean it's up to $47 now, which
Still underpriced.
sure, I'll say I guess it's underpriced. I mean, it is a very significant game, but yeah, this game there was like a point where this was going for like $100.
Think of all the dumb shit you've bought for $47 that aren't more important than Final Fantasy 7.
Guys, you should
like a new copy of Final Fantasy 7 for the PS4 or PS5.
Should have just played the original. Well, the remake is a different game, but you should have just played the original. Back when we had load times for each individual random battle, you just had to sit there and wait.
It's not even the same game. You can call that game Final Fantasy 7. It's not Final Fantasy 7. It's a retelling of Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah. And Johnny, I think depending on whether you owned an N64 or a PlayStation, either this or Ocarina of Time, you considered the best game of all time for a long time.
Probably true.
Number 94 is Metal Gear Solid, also for the PlayStation, Johnny, because you need a physical copy of the game or you can't beat it.
It's true.
Number 95 is Resident Evil, the long box for the original PlayStation.
It's a good choice. I didn't put that on.
How can you not put Resident Evil? What you didn't have Resident? You need to fix your list before we record that.
No, I have like my 10 afters, and I didn't put them on because I didn't think about it.
Man. So obviously Resident Evil is the start of survival horror, although you can trace it back to the predecessor, Sweet Home, which has a surprising amount of survival horror in it, but obviously Resident Evil is an action game that is more in line with what the genre actually became. I was personally a Silent Hill kid, and even I would pick the long box of Resident Evil as a much better collectible than Silent Hill.
Yeah, I have to fix my list and get Resident Evil in here.
Number 96, We're getting to the end, Johnny. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. The game that coined the genre term platform adventure.
That's the one.
And actually, potentially the most influential game of all time, because A lot of people don't know this. 50% of all indie games that have ever been released are actually based on Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
That's true.
That's a fact.
Yeah. They will tell you that right on the box to sell that game.
Number 97, Johnny, it's Halo.
Halo's a good one. Not on my list.
I would get the not for resale launch team exclusive version, which basically it just has a little box that says not for resale on the front of the box. The only problem with that is that there's an identical copy that came out in Canada as part of a console bundle. So the not for resale version was also bundled in Canada. So to get the launch team exclusive version, I need like provenance from Bill Gates or someone. Maybe someone a little more acceptable than Bill Gates. But maybe like Cliffy B, does he have a copy of Halo? Who's an Xbox guy? I don't know. Jay Allard? Can we get Jay Allard to get me a launch team copy of Halo? I need to know it didn't come from Canada, because I only can own 100 video games, Johnny.
Cliffy B is going to be mad you didn't put Gears on here, so I don't know.
Fuck Gears of War. Get the fuck out of here.
Marcus Phoenix objects.
Number 90, and there's no new game. I don't think there's barely any Xbox 360 games or anything newer than that on this list.
Number 90, did you say 95 before? Did you?
No, 98. Halo was 97. Grand Theft Auto 3 is 98, Johnny.
Oh, I'm glad the original GTA didn't make it on here.
The original GTA did make it.
I mean, for the PlayStation, you just had to go with the European weird one. And then now you're going to go with GTA 3.
It was developed in the UK.
Okay.
And I think it was released first in the UK, too.
All right. Tell me more about this game.
Oh, Grand Theft Auto 3? I don't know. It might be the most important video game ever made.
Is that anything like GTA 5?
It's a lot like GTA 5, actually. And it's also going to be a lot like GTA 6, because now every open world game is basically just Grand Theft Auto 3, but better.
Oh. I'm personally an LA Noire guy, so I don't know.
Oh, yeah, LA Noire, it's like Grand Theft Auto 3, but with like detective stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's no Red Dead, though.
Do you play the new, you played Red Dead? That's like Grand Theft Auto 3 on horses.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you mean it's like Red Dead with cars.
Okay. I mean, that's a thing, yeah.
Okay.
Also, next on the list, Red Dead Revolver for the Xbox.
Oh, really?
No.
I was like, what? I'm like, a shocking pick.
Grand Theft Auto 3 actually came out on PlayStation 2 first. So as much as I want to put the PC release, we're officially a console franchise at this point, I guess.
Alrighty.
And now the rumors of GTA 6 are like the PC release is going to be like 6 months after the console version, according to like the latest 4chan leak, which we already expected. But man, as one of the lucky people who bought a GPU before COVID, so I have a computer that can still play games. And now if you look at the prices of GPUs to get like a 5090, it's like $2,500 or something.
We're going to have the memes that say things like, we got GPU crashes before GTA 6. Like price crashing.
I mean, we're probably going to need one before it comes out, because I don't think anyone's going to be able to run that, considering that game looks really nice in the trailers, right?
Yep. But that's my joke, because you can't afford to play it. They can't afford to make it for the PC if that's how much a GPU is going to cost.
I'm just hoping. So that game, it's definitely over $1 billion budget, right? Like, I need a lot of that budget to be going into optimizing it so my computer can actually run it, because I haven't really upgraded my computer in like 7
game
years.
Minimum, right? It's got to be 100 minimum.
Oh man, they spend so much on the game. You could spend a few $1,000s to upgrade your PC, can't you, buddy? Come on, don't you want to play GTA 6?
On the PS5.
I'm not going to be able to afford a PS5 by the time GTA 6 comes out. A PS5 is going to be like $1,500.
It's true.
Damn it. Fuck video games. Just play Super Nintendo games and just pirate them and play them for free. God, the video game industry sucks. Hey guys, you know what's a good game? I was going to say modern game, but I don't think people consider it modern anymore. Number 99, Demon's Souls, the deluxe edition with the.
Is that a Souls-like?
That is a Souls-like. You might have noticed I really like games that were important enough to coin entire genres.
Like,
Also, like Demon's Souls.
no, it's just I'm making a stupid joke.
Oh, you said like. You're stupid.
Yeah, I know.
So the interesting thing that Demon's Souls did is they made a game in 2009 that felt like a game that probably could have been made in like 1997. And because they did that, it became a new genre, even though it was just a style of gameplay that had always existed forever. But now everything that has any kind of difficulty or trial and error is considered a Souls-like.
Yep.
Whatever. I think the games are cool. I'm not going to complain about it.
Hey, new Star Wars games are Souls-likes.
You cut that out.
They are.
I know they are.
Souls-likes. They're great.
I might get mad at this genre name like I'm mad at Metroidvania, but I don't think anything's as bad as Metroidvania.
No.
Johnny, number 100, capping off the list, is Metal Gear Solid 4, the signed limited edition, because when Metal Gear Solid 4 came out, Hideo Kojima came over to these United States of America, and in both California and New York City, he was there with like the artist guy and some other people signing copies of the game. I want one of the signed limited editions. I have one of the signed limited editions. And I love it. And I was talking about how video games are a terrible storytelling medium. And Metal Gear Solid 4, it's like, it's not even a video game. Like, most of this game is cutscenes and codec conversations, and like, you get to play the game for 5 minutes and you're back into a cutscene. It is so stupid and unlike a video game. But because of that, it actually has good pacing for the story. For the stupid, convoluted bullshit, and it has to wrap up like 20 years of the dumbest video game story that's ever been told because Hideo Kojima's a madman, and I think it does a really good job of that.
I hated that game.
You hated Metal Gear Solid 4?
Yeah.
Man. I was playing it with my college roommates, and we were just constantly in awe at just like how we put down the controller and watch a cutscene for 45 minutes.
Dude, I kept falling asleep.
Oh man, you gotta be taking notes. You can't fall asleep. You can miss a lot in a Metal Gear Solid game.
The plot, you can't. It's like, oh, we do such a good job of telling the story, but the story is so stupid,
dude. The Lolly Lule Low, dude.
Oh my God.
Colonel,
kill me.
I don't know. I could not tell you what happened in the Metal Gear Solid franchise.
And this is from a kid who loved the original Metal Gear on NES and even Snake's Revenge and Metal Gear Solid. And by the time we got to Metal Gear 4, I was just like, I can't do this anymore, guys. I'm just trying to play this game and nothing's happening. I don't know. It did not resonate with me. It may have been a time and place thing, but yeah, didn't do it for me.
So when I made this list, I looked up Metal Gear Solid 4 in like the Metal Gear subreddit, and I'm like, surely everyone agrees with me that this is like the greatest Metal Gear game. And like Metal Gear Solid 5 and gameplay is obviously the best, but that game's a little fucky in other ways. And everybody on the Metal Gear Solid subreddit fucking hates Metal Gear Solid 4. I am unique in that opinion. I think everybody loves Metal Gear Solid 3, obviously. But I think a lot of people are mad at the gameplay to codec conversation ratio. And to me, the fact that it only hits like very high highlights of gameplay and then just goes straight back into being a movie, it's very unique. And I think it works for telling a story.
Okay.
Best boss fight in video game history also. The best final boss. Fighting Ocelot, going through the entire history of the Metal Gear franchise. Super cool. And it wraps up the thing perfectly, and then they made another fucking game called Metal Gear Solid 5 for some reason, which makes no fucking sense. Why we have another Metal Gear game after this game? It's like the perfect conclusion. Johnny, that's it. Those are the 100 video games I would own if there were only 100 video games in my collection.
Okay. You made a compelling list, and I have a list also, which we will get to next time. And what my standards were will be repeated, and they do not match up with Tyler's. So when our lists are vastly different, you will understand why. Now we're going to move on to the second part of the show.
Oh.
And we're going to answer a collector's question. We're going to say Tyler's going to tell us the best thing he saw in the Discord, and then Tyler's going to tell us what he bought and played. This is a completely Tyler-centric episode.
Why is this a Tyler episode? I don't. This is
because this is your part. This is an A to my B.
All right.
So you are going to do these things. I will answer the question because we both answer the questions, but the rest will just be you. And I will give a little spoiler for those who made it this far. I'm going to let you guess. Tyler, how many Atari 2600 games do you think made my list?
0. Is it not 0?
It's not 0.
Oh. Well, so you sliced it out of games you own. All right.
Okay. It's not 0. And I want you to think about which console has more games in it. Do you think the Atari 2600, the GameCube, or the PS1?
It has to be PS1, the best console of all time.
We'll find out on the next episode, and that's a teaser. Tyler, let's get a question, and let's talk about what's in the Discord. Well, you're going to tell me the best thing you saw in the Discord.
Nope, I'm doing a question because I'm already here. Jason of the PlayStationLibrary.com, owner of Elemental Gearbolt Assassin's Case, one of the top 100 most collectible video games of all time.
Best PS1 collector in the whole world. Don't forget that part.
He is the best PS1 collector in the whole world. Although he doesn't agree that, I can't even remember the name of it. What are the stupid educational games? Lightspan? I think the Lightspan games are the most underpriced games in video games because they're like $1 each for educational exclusive PlayStation games. And he also thinks they're garbage. So what I'm trying to say is that he asked, is there anything you're actually looking forward to playing in 2026? I have nothing on my calendar but games I already own.
Tyler?
Hey.
Do you have an answer?
So the spiritual successor to Cruelty Squad, Psycho Patrol R, is in early access. It's been in early access for over a year. I don't know about you guys, but early access sucks balls. So if that is released as a real video game this year, I'll be very happy to play that. Other than that, I don't think so. I mean, I'm just playing what else. I like not following the industry is so exciting because I'm never like waiting for something to be released. I just boot up Steam and they're just like, hey, the new amazing game everybody's been waiting 4 years to come out finally came out. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. I'll play that.
Yeah, I don't have anything like really on my list that I'm waiting for. Nope. I'm sure something will come out and I'll be like, oh yeah, I want to play that. Like there's a Lego Batman game that probably just came out that I'm kind of like, oh yeah, I wanted to play that a little bit, but I've played so many Lego games. It's like, do I need to play another one?
I feel that about Zelda games sometimes, Johnny.
Look, I would like to play Tears of the Kingdom. I just know I don't have 100 hours. That's the problem with Tears of the Kingdom.
Do Re Mi, who's Henry of the Cheat Code Weekly podcast. Are graded games dead, Johnny?
No. And this auction is proving it.
Let's see how much time is left on the Super Mario Brothers sticker, but it's already at like $700,000 and it has 20 days left. So I think we're alive and well. What was my price prediction? I think it was like it was a little over 2 million and you were only at like 1.2 million, Johnny. Whew.
Yeah.
Let's see. But
hey,
we're back.
PSVR 2 copies of Mist and Riven coming out this year. Just want you to know.
Man, there are so many fucking re-releases of Myst. And I guess there's a lot of Riven now too. They love remaking that game.
7th guest remake, are we there? Is it late 90s computer games? I guess Myst isn't technically late 90s, it's like mid 90s.
I just played the 7th guest like a year or two ago for the LGN podcast, or because they were playing it. And man, that game sucks. And so when I saw they were remaking it, I'm like literally a significant percentage of puzzles in that game are stolen from other sources. And I'm like, you cannot remake this game. It is unremakeable, but apparently they have redone all the puzzles and it looks like they've also redone the story. So it's not a remake. So why are we calling it a remake?
I don't know. Because IP sells. That's why.
yeah, the illustrious seventh guest IP.
It doesn't matter if an IP is illustrious or not. Marketing new properties costs so much money. If you have any brain share, it's easier to market something that already exists.
Johnny, who has the best thing? Dude, we haven't recorded in like a week. Like, people have probably posted their stuff from Midwest Gaming Classic, and we haven't even got around to it.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? This is not fair because it's Galdius. He just bought a fucking US hang tab version of Super Mario Brothers, which I think is like one of the best things anyone could possibly own.
Okay,
and it's not fair because he
Galdius.
always posts the dumbest shit, and now he's posting like, oh, by the way, guys, it's like the best thing.
So we have to like, what's the best thing we saw in the Discord, and also what Galdius bought.
Yeah.
Or
He
that
also,
wasn't what Galdius bought.
Johnny, he completed his Brazilian PSP full set. He actually got Dirt
12 games?
2.
Oh, man.
Can you believe it? He has all 14 games now. And I'm sure Dirt 2 is really rare, but it's just so funny, the weird
It's
rare
like
stuff
you
that
mock,
he
but
posts.
yeah, it is. Yeah, hilarious. Hilarious. All right, yeah, I'm gonna agree with you.
I'm scrolling back because I know we haven't posted stuff in such a long time.
So much. There's so many things. Ross, he got a rad racer with the glasses. That's cool. I like that a lot.
That is pretty cool. Peaceful bought a Korean Super Mario World, which I'm sure is very rare because literally every Korean game is rare. But he was buying it as a proxy for his friend, so he doesn't get to keep it. But that is cool.
Zach got a yellow Pikachu transparent 2DS while in Japan, I think. So
Nope.
that's cool.
Don't like it. No two handheld limited editions. I'm sorry, Johnny.
But he got it while he was in Japan.
You could have got just a copy of Pokemon Red. That was on the top 100 list. Johnny,
okay.
What are we buying? What are we playing? Johnny, we actually haven't recorded since Midwest, so we have played Pac-Man 2, The New Adventures, Artiska's Ring, and right? We haven't recorded since then? Maybe we did put out one episode. All right, fuck these games.
Yeah.
I played ActRaiser.
Okay, you played
Cut
ActRaiser.
all this. I played ActRaiser, Johnny. Who
Okay.
cares? What? Why is there hype around ActRaiser? Get out of here. What are we talking about, guys?
Bad takes from you and the LGN squad apparently coming up.
No, so LJN, there was like half the people on the podcast gave it like a 5 out of 10, and half of them were like 9 out of 10. This is the best thing I've ever played.
Mike and Jay liked it, and then everybody else didn't.
Robbie and Sashimi Z did not like it, and I don't remember what John did, but
Didn't like it either.
it's like the action part of the game is good, and then the Sim City part, in the biggest air quotes ever, is just waiting for your city to expand. There is no strategy whatsoever. And you can't lose. So it's essentially a waste of time. You just wait until your city expands. There's no planning the city. It just expands in the direction that you tell it to, and then everyone's city ends up looking the same because nothing interesting happens in that part of the game, which is why they removed it for ActRaiser 2.
The game is a time capsule, and going back and, rating it against now, being like, why'd they do this? Why'd they do... It's crazy things to say.
It's not a game. So there are experiments that fail. I think D on the Sega Saturn, the perfect example of an experiment that failed. And I think ActRaiser's simulation mode is an experiment that failed, and people treat it like it's this multi-genre classic. And
did it fail, or
disagree.
did it succeed? What are you measuring failure on?
On how good the gameplay mechanics are.
Okay, but all the other games and styles that it inspired?
What did ActRaiser inspire? They took their own simulation mode out of the sequel.
And people did not like that.
Yeah, that's true. People didn't like that. Something must be wrong with ActRaiser 2, because ActRaiser 2 sounds better than ActRaiser. And it's not like ActRaiser was bad. You're making me do pointless nothing in between playing the kind of cool action stages.
Look, ActRaiser is not my favorite game or anything. It's not like a 5 for me or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. I think it is a fine game of the time, and it was doing something interesting, and like it was cool that you were like this god character and you got like these little towns and you were affecting things. You felt like you were, but also when you didn't know any better at the time, like, oh, that this isn't how these should work or things should work better or do more. You just didn't have those expectations wired in.
When did SimCity come? ActRaiser's a pretty early game on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
So if I own SimCity, SimCity's an early game too.
Yeah. All
right, they both came out in 91. Technically, SimCity came out first, but you'd have to be a rich kid to play it a month before ActRaiser. I don't know. You probably, people who played ActRaiser, they probably like played SimCity at their friend's house, and they're like, yeah, this is just like SimCity. It's the same thing.
Yeah, like when did SimCity come out on the Super Nintendo though? Because like remember, Super Nintendo kid probably doesn't have a computer.
Yeah, no, it was November 91 is ActRaiser, and then SimCity is August 91.
Okay, interesting. Oh, guess they're both early. Yeah, yeah, it's weird. I played SimCity much later. I didn't play SimCity till after ActRaiser by like a significant margin.
Oh man,
But
I didn't play
also I was
ActRaiser until
poor.
2026.
Lucky you got to experience it for the first time. So jealous. No, it's fine. It's not. Some people hold ActRaiser in much greater esteem than I do.
Did we really
don't
have an
think it's-
episode since
We did.
Midwest Gaming Classic?
I think we did. You
Oh,
were
we
so
did.
sick. Maybe your brain is scrambled.
Well, then I didn't buy anything because I'm done buying video games, Johnny. We
Oh.
got to prepare for the great AI layoffs.
Okay.
I am 30 days with 0 eBay purchases. Feels so good.
Oh my God. Let's see. My eBay purchases. Am I 0 days without an eBay purchase?
0
I purchased
days.
something. Yeah. I purchased something yesterday, so it's not been a full 24 hours.
All right.
Oh man, I got that cool box I showed you. Man, talk about that later. And you guys know I'm doing some manual stuff. Anyways, we'll talk more about that on the next episode of The Collector's Quest, where we do the Johnny episode.
I've got 3 hours. We could just go.
I mean, I need a drink. We could do it, but I need to go get something to drink and probably eat a snack. But I can come right back in 5 minutes.
All right. Yeah, let's take a break. You say goodbye to the people, though.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to the show. And if this is the kind of content you enjoy, you know how you can get more of it. You can join our Patreon. That's patreon.com/collectorsquest, which gets you access to our Discord and rants and pictures and questions that you can ask us and the occasional bonus episode, which we do put out. It's $5 or $4. I don't know. It's not very expensive. Do it or don't. Doesn't matter. We appreciate everybody who supports us, though. It does allow us to keep the show up and running without it coming out of pocket. So thank you. And thanks to everyone on the Discord for hanging out. Thanks to everyone listening for hanging out this long. I know it's kind of a long episode and we're going back to back. I love that Tyler's list was a history lesson as well. Mine won't be as such, so we'll probably get a shorter episode for me. Anyways, that's it for the show. Thanks, everybody. Bye.